It's opening day. That's an easy teaser for you for today's show. It is a holiday, merry, whatever you want to call it. Happy opening day. It's going to be a lot of fun, filled with positivity on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
This is Kincade and Salciunas.
My gut instinct is they're going to be good, but it almost feels like it's all or nothing this year. Bryce Harper's still going to be good this year.
90 games should be your floor when you have this much talent, this much pitching. This is a vibe of box ticket.
Kincade and Salciunas. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And a good opening day Thursday. Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salciunas alongside my man John Kincade. Johnny, our second year being able to do an opening day show together. Second year in a row where you probably will see me at my happiest over the course of the calendar year.
Best opening day for you? Baseball?
Yes. Oh, yeah, by far.
I always think it's the best opening day concept because of we're coming out of winter.
Oh, I get that.
So that's always sort of a thing to me that I know I'm going to be able to sit outside. The weather's going to be nice. I'll sit out on the screen porch. I'll sit out in the back patio. I'll go to a game, whatever
Absolutely.
it is. The weather's nice. It's going to be a lot of fun. It should be a great year.
It's going to be a great year, and that's going to be the majority of our conversations today when it comes to Philadelphia Phillies, because today is not just a joyous day because it is opening day in Major League Baseball. Games starting at 3 o'clock throughout the course of the night. And I'm somebody that can watch, Blue Jays Mariners, right? Like I don't have to watch the Phillies, but obviously I'm locked in on the Phillies because they are my darling. They are my baby. I love the Philadelphia Phillies. But Johnny, today's a day where I want this show to be as positive as possible. And I'm not trying to blow, smoke up anybody's skirt. I'm not trying to let's be positive for the sake of being positive. This team, as you said, it's going to be a very fun season, is very, very, very good. And as frustrating as the last couple of years have been, as disappointing as the lack of change with the roster may be for a lot of you, including us, I didn't like the run it back approach. You're still running it back with a 95-win team. And so, yes, you want to talk about your concerns for the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. I understand it. I do. But for you to allow it to tamper with your opening day and the months of April, May, June, July, August, when it's just
you studied your months last night.
Thank you.
Very good.
Just going to a ballpark and watching the game, just watching it from home. We talked about it yesterday. Also, the best background noise. You don't have to be locked in every single pitch in a game in May and June, but you hear the crack of the bat, and you look over and you see Harper round the bases, and you're celebrating. That's the beauty of baseball. It's a long season, and when you have a good team, which the Phillies are, it makes it that much more enjoyable. And I'm hoping we can try to kind of calm down the woe is me crowd that we've been dealing with since we've been talking about this team the last couple of weeks.
The positivity is going to come from us. I want I do want the natural reaction from the audience, though, because I don't understand the psyche. I don't get it. I try to relate. I don't understand it. If I don't like something, I don't do something.
Right.
So if there's something I don't like, I don't make time for it. I don't do it. I don't believe any of the people going, Phillies aren't getting any of my money. Phillies aren't getting any of my time. By the way, if you're watching the Phillies on TV, they're getting your money.
Right.
They really are. You're helping them make money. If you're still watching and you're hate watching, I'm going to say get a hobby, get a rescue dog, get something, because if it makes you that miserable, I don't understand. I truly don't understand it. I don't grasp the concept. I do know this, though. If you think this Phillies team isn't a really, really good team with a chance to win it all, I'll say it flat out. You don't know baseball.
Right.
You don't know baseball. You're just talking. You're just typing. You're just texting and tweeting just to say something. Because if you don't believe this team is one of the top handful of contenders to have a parade this fall, I'm going to just tell you don't know baseball.
And that's why yesterday we made the point to go through what the national media members are saying. If you look across CBS, ESPN, Fox, MLB Network. The Phillies, if they're not number 2 on the list of power rankings going into the season, they're 3 or 4. They're not falling out of the top 5 for people. You hear terms like, this is the deepest roster in all of baseball other than the Dodgers. This is one of the best rotations in baseball. This is one of the most explosive lineups. When you hear that from outside sources, right?
Yeah, it's not us saying it.
It's not us saying it, and you want to rip us for being too Pollyanna. You were wrong about the Eagles because we were very Pollyanna about the Birds last season or last year before the season started.
We weren't Pollyanna. People were going into the year with the same negative crap that they're coming with, those who are in the wake me in October, I don't believe in this team. It's the same thing. We were right.
We were right.
And like completely right. I didn't leave any ledge.
No. NFC
I told you the
game.
date you had to work.
Yeah.
And it worked. No, I didn't go further than that. I didn't say there was definitely going to be a parade. So
well, you didn't want to be too crazy.
I can't pat myself on the back too much on that. But I did say a Final Four team, and they got there. And I feel very confident the Phillies are going to give us a great, great summer.
So here's the deal. I have a question for you all, 610-632-0975. And later on this hour, we're going to do a little bit of an exercise. We're going to come up with guidelines, the bitch and complain guidelines. Because here's the deal. It's going to happen.
Yes.
Connor said to me last night at the Sixers game when he was out there with shoes that were not allowed on the court. Hi, Connor.
Good morning, boys.
We'll get into the whole knockout stuff later on the show.
Connor and reading email.
Yeah.
Where there were literally 2 rules. And not being able to grasp one of the rules, little complex. We'll get into it later.
We will discuss.
But Connor said yesterday that today is a sneaky game for the Phillies. Because if they lose...
He's in concussion protocol.
No, he's not wrong. If they lose...
Oh, stop it.
You know tomorrow's show.
Oh, yes.
This is the same team. This is why they shouldn't have ran it back.
I know that.
Fire Dombrowski. Fire Topper.
Oh, no.
Oh, Trey this guy. Cut this guy.
You know what's funny, though, with sports talk radio? It's the beauty of many, many times letting the hosts be the ones who are the butt of the joke and letting the listeners sometimes being the butt of the joke.
Right.
That would be the absolute butt of the joke.
We're usually the butt.
Yes, we
But
many
not
times.
when it comes to this. If somebody's complained after game 1, which there would be, it would be too much. Like, you should not be complaining. But I asked this question.
Okay.
Can you, and I know you can, and Connor, I know you can. This is more so for the audience that's like going into this season with just a horrible attitude. Can you, beginning today, before first pitch, just be along for the ride and worry about the playoffs when the playoffs get here?
How about with a caveat?
Okay.
See if this is a fair caveat. Can you agree to be along for the ride till Memorial Day? Can you give them 50 games?
I think we need more than that.
No, to be along for the ride, because if you're negative on this team and where they're at, and you see the same old crap, and they haven't fixed any of these things that they swore to you they were going to fix. They swore to you. 17 quotes full, and I got them all. That they said they were going to change things up, do things differently. We got to do things differently. We got to be a different team. If I see the same team through 50 games, I'm going to tell you I know the ending. And I will say it just as defiantly as I said you guys were going to be working an Eagles pregame show the last Sunday in January. If I see Memorial Day come and I don't see the changes that were promised, I absolutely will be in the camp of you're getting the same thing, and I already know the ending to this story. Don't know how the car crash is coming, but it's coming.
Now, what about July 31st? That's MLB trade deadline day. What if they acquire a center fielder that actually can do both hit and field?
I would open myself to...
That's well past Memorial Day.
How about this? I would open myself to evaluate. It would take a lot to move me off that position.
Okay. So, can you, beginning today, be along for the ride and worry about the playoffs when the playoffs get here? Maybe you want to give a date. Maybe it is Memorial Day. I'll give them up until Memorial Day.
Right.
There's some people that will say, I'll give them the first series. Let me see how they play against the Nationals. If they can't win this series, I'm done. Coming up next.
Come on.
In terms of just trying to be positive. You want to drool if you're a Phillies fan? Hall of Famer Jason Stark said something yesterday in the best show ever that gave me an out-of-body experience, Johnny.
Really?
Yep.
It sounds personal.
It was beautiful. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson.
They're in the Sixers territory with better weather. There are certain people that believe.
Of Kincade and Salciunas. We're going to try to walk people to first pitch, Johnny. Some people are already there. Some people hopped and skipped and jumped their way to excitement of opening day. But then there's a large group of fans. We dealt with a lot of it yesterday.
We did.
As to the reasons why they're feeling doom and gloom and down and not that excited for opening day for a team that's going to win 90-plus ball games, which, man.
It's fascinating to me. I just don't want to put too much. I don't want to put too much thought into them, the people that are doing this, because honestly, and look, they may think some of my stuff is total crap opinion or whatever. So I respect it. I understand it. But what I will tell you is, I think a lot of them don't mean any of it that's coming out of their mouth, and they would jump on back on the bandwagon, be complete believers in a second.
Yeah, as soon as they see
in a second.
maybe what they think is something different.
And by the way,
know.
I would give them the grace to say, okay, just admit you were wrong with this and go on.
I heard Ray Dunn doing the updates yesterday, and I heard him say at one point that if the Phillies make the playoffs, it'll be just the second time in franchise history where they made it 4 years in a row. Like, that's how bad this franchise has been.
No, it's been really bad.
Like,
that's why I say I don't understand Phillies fans not savoring this.
I don't know.
Because Eagles fans, again, for a quarter century have been spoiled rotten.
Yeah. Hello.
A quarter of a century.
Raise my hand.
2 Super Bowl wins, 2 Super Bowl losses.
Yeah. 4 appearances in my lifetime.
I mean, 4 appearances in a quarter of a century.
31 years.
Division titles, great moments, 2 parades. It's been damn good.
Yeah.
The Phillies haven't done that as much. We'll see what happens. I am choosing to be confident, and I'm not going to contrive it. I just look at everything and say, this team is loaded.
Yeah.
They should be very, very good. Now, the only caveat would be injury. And that's it.
Right. But I can't.
And every team you can put that on.
Right. I can't go
What if
into the
Ohtani
season
was
like
out
that.
for the year?
Right.
Does that change the Dodgers? If they lost Freddie Freeman for the year, how much does that change the Dodgers? There's lots of things that can happen in the course of a season. I'm not wishing that on anybody, by the way. Just mention those 2 gentlemen's
of course.
names.
Yeah.
Just for instance.
All right.
I already did hear the first stupid call of the day yesterday, though.
What was it?
Well, maybe at the trade deadline we could go get Mike Trout. I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
man.
gosh.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Somebody, please. Stop it.
You know it's going to be Trout season all year.
Stop it. What 32 games are you going to get him for?
Well, hey, maybe the 32 that count in October.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be healthy in October. Yeah, it works.
Does he know how to play in October?
I don't think he does.
I think it's the same game.
He's busy getting footballs from Jalen Hurts or A.J. Brown or something.
Again, that's a discussion for August.
I already heard it yesterday. Well, maybe at the trade deadline they can make a move and get it and get.
He's only got 6 years left
Mike Trout.
on his contract.
Hey, that's
It's
a good
so
deal.
freaking stupid. Stop it with the Mike Trout crap.
All right, yesterday I had an out-of-body experience listening to the best show ever when Jason Stark joined them.
Sounds personal.
Hall of Famer Jason Stark. Oh, it moved.
It's exciting.
It moved.
All right.
He was talking about Andrew Painter, who the Phillies will obviously get at some point this season, barring any setbacks. And he's looked already good in spring on his mound work. I saw a video. That ball just pops in the glove. Pop, pop, pop. Dude, Painter's going to be nasty. But just how good is he going to be? Jason Stark, Hall of Famer, who obviously knows a thing or two about baseball himself, but also talks to everybody. Here, just take a listen to who he compares Andrew Painter to.
Andrew Painter. This guy's going to be Garrett Cole, honestly. And I just wonder about how patient the Phillies can be about getting into the big leagues if they have any injuries early in the rotation.
If your team sucked and you had Garrett Cole in your farm system, you're excited. This team already has Zach Wheeler,
Aaron Nola,
a rising all-star in Christopher Sanchez, and now you're going to eventually get Garrett Cole. It moved.
It's exciting, and I love the fact that he's that confident because I know Jason Stark not prone to hyperbole.
No. I usually don't get overhyped about prospects. You know that. I'm
Sure.
pro-trade prospects, proven versus unknown all the time. But when a guy like Jason Stark is telling me Garrett Cole, and not like, oh, he's Nolan Ryan. Like, not going too over the top, but he gave you a former Cy Young winner and a multi-time All-Star and one of the better pitchers in baseball. Unfortunately, he's hurt this year. Out-of-body experience for me yesterday, Johnny. So here's the deal. Coming up next, we're going to come up with some regulations for the 2025 season. It can't always be positive, especially if they have a bad game. So
can't all be positive.
let's come up with the bitch and complain guidelines for the 2025 season. It is Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Hope springs eternal. I'm Connor Thomas, and it's opening day for the 2025 MLB season. The long winter wait is over. The Phillies open up the season in Washington today at 4:05. Zach Wheeler will face off against Mackenzie Gore. It's going to be Trey Turner leading off today, so a different look there, at least in Game 1 for the Phillies. And Jason Stark joined the best show ever yesterday and talks about why he's grown even more bullish on the Phillies now that spring training's over.
I think the outlook is bright. I'm actually more bullish on the Phillies' chances after spring training than I was going into spring training.
So, hope springs eternal on opening day for all teams, but springs a little bit more for teams like the Phillies. The Sixers fell to the Wizards 119-114 last night. They're off till Saturday. The Flyers take on the Canadiens tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. Busy day here on Kincade Salciunas as Kevin Nagandi and Jeff Francoeur will both join us in the 9 o'clock hour. This update is brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ricky Vitalico.
Everybody thought.
97.5 The Fanatic. Happy opening day to all of you. And happy with a capital H. All right? Because there were way too many people yesterday that were still not really filled with excitement for the start of what will be a fun and successful 2025 Phillies season. We're not saying, hey, they're going to the World Series and winning it. We're not. You're not etching in stone NLCS like you did the NFC Championship game.
No, not yet. But I'm very, very confident we have October plans.
Absolutely.
And
it's more than round one.
Well, it depends. Connor got me thinking about this yesterday. If they win the division, I can't make that guarantee. But, well, I don't want to throw away what I'm going to pick them to do. But I think there's a difference. There is how the board falls matters. Like who your path.
It does.
Like the Dodgers being removed from the 2022 Phillies path.
It was big.
I think totally changed everything. I said it to you in 2017. I don't think the Eagles win the Super Bowl.
I agree.
If the Eagles had to play a different path, if they had to go the different path,
Rams and then the Saints.
Rams and then the Saints.
They're not beating both of those teams.
No, they don't go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, sometimes luck's involved.
Well, there it is.
Absolutely.
So that's where I'm at but I can't wait. I'm so excited.
All right, so here's what I want to do. Because we're not just going to be like, don't come here with any negativity.
That's BS.
Don't come here with that. If you're complaining about this team, stay away. We're not doing that.
No.
I find it foolish that people are going into this season like upset already.
And if they want to call us foolish, I'm totally here for it too.
Feel free. We heard from all of you
Absolutely.
before the Eagles season about how foolish you and I were, Johnny and Connor. We were so foolish being confident about the team that ended up winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the Phillies, we should come up with guidelines, though, for the bitching and complaining guideline. Because there's going to be a lot of it. People, for whatever reason, have allowed Phillies seasons to turn into Eagles seasons, where one game is going to provide you the same angst that one Eagles game provides for you. Now, I don't want to ignore when bad things happen, but like in the game where the offense just doesn't hit and they lose 7-1 in May, it's going to happen. Warning you now, it's going to happen. So let's come up with some of the bitch and complain guidelines, Johnny and Connor. Because Connor, you're Mr. Positive.
Absolutely.
You will let a lot of things slide. But
I think Haley can make this into an app, so that way people could just download it and just know all the rules.
Yeah, all the rules. Here's what you're allowed to complain about.
Here's what it makes sense. So, and this is a little tongue in cheek, but I like it.
But
I like the idea.
I think some of it's fair. Like I'm already not in favor of the flipping of Schwarber Turner leadoff spot. Like I want to see it play out first. So if it's going well for Turner in the leadoff spot, and they move Schwarber for a game into the leadoff spot, and Turner goes elsewhere, I'm going to complain about it.
A game?
If let's say they're 10 games into the season,
Okay, let's say
and Trey Turner's on base percentage is 400, and they're playing well, and then they do it just to do it. I'll be like, come on, man, why are we doing this?
See, I will have no problem with that, and I make that. I swear to you, I will have no problem with that. But I will have a problem if they go this what is projected to be this like 50-50 crap. That's a losing proposition, and it's more along the lines of, I want to take a stand as the manager, but I really want you to like me too.
Right.
So I'm not going to do anything because you guys are comfortable. I want you to be comfortable. That will cause me problem. If they just decide here or there to do that, I would have no problem with it.
Okay.
I really wouldn't.
Now I have to say this,
and hold me to that, Connor.
I have to say this for my own feelings. I can't complain about Brandon Marsh like within the first 2 weeks of the season.
Fair.
He's going to be an everyday player for the first time. He's going to be facing left-handed pitching for really the first time on a consistent basis. But if we do bleed into May and he's still a minus, like if we're doing the WAR,
he's a negative.
He's a net negative, I will complain about it and be like, this is what I've been talking about for 3 years now, that I don't like this. But for myself, I have to tell myself to kind of not complain about the Brandon Marsh experiment for the first couple weeks of the season.
I think I would offer that same grace period, but I would offer it longer, because I'm not going to be critical of Rob Thompson and say he gave it 14 games. If they're going to do this with Brandon Marsh, it's fair to go 35, 40 games. It's fair to get a much better sample size of what the guy can do. So I make the pledge. I will be patient because there's nothing that it's annoyed me to death what he's done with Trey Turner since he's been here as the manager, Rob Thompson. So to me, I will give the patience to say, if they're going to give Brandon Marsh a shot, let's give him a legit shot.
Okay.
And to me, 40 games, 35, 40 games is a legit shot.
All right. Do you have anything that comes to your mind? Like, I want to say everybody has every right to complain about anytime Taijuan Walker starts, even though we just have to deal with it.
Well, that's on Dave Dombrowski. I'm
but
convinced
we have every
now
right to complain.
I'm convinced it's Dave Dombrowski, and I think everybody in the fan base should complain.
Yeah.
Everybody should complain. There should be no rules on it, and it should be open season.
When you see his name on the lineup card, and if he gives up 3 earned in the first inning,
they're giving up.
I'm putting out tweets like, this is why we're doing this.
It's unacceptable. I don't believe, and I was led to believe yesterday, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about it. I was led to believe yesterday that it will be 2 starts.
Yeah, it can't be much.
That it will be no more than 2 starts for him. So.
Yeah, it's not going to be as big of a deal as it seems.
So that's,
with the days off early on in the season, and Suarez will be back eventually.
More importantly, I think that they have someone else that they want to segue into that role if they need it. I got a couple.
Okay, what we got?
I would say as far as I've already told you, I am going to absolutely be patient with Bryson Stott to get his opportunity because I think the tools have been there and he's shown us enough as to what he could be. And I will absolutely be patient if they say he's working some things out in April and he's getting comfortable. And only caveat, if I see his eye for the strike zone come back this year. Because 22 and 23, he may have been the best guy at the plate.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Bryce at balls and strikes, understanding balls and strikes, what's coming. If I see that return, I'll have all the patience in the world.
And you got that this spring.
He was absolutely seeing more pitches again.
So in this spring, he walked 13 times, struck out 7 in 41 at-bats. He hit 268, which obviously we'd like the batting average to be higher, but not many Phillies players actually had great springs. Only a handful did. But the more walks to strikeouts, whereas last year in the spring, and maybe this was a sign of things to come, he walked 1 time and struck out 14 times in spring training last year.
I will not be patient on Trey Turner in the field.
I agree
because
with
he should be the second base.
I agree with you.
He is. You're not playing, much like when the Yankees had A-Rod and Jeter. A-Rod was a much better shortstop and a much more absolutely flawless, just tooled player.
Yeah.
And he had to play third because Jeter wouldn't move off his position. And I absolutely believe the reason that Trey Turner is the shortstop is because that's where Trey Turner wants to be. And the manager won't say, for the good of the team, you're our second best shortstop. Get over to second and do it now.
All right. Connor, is there anything that you are allowing?
What
are you adding to the bitch and complain guidelines for the 2025 Phillies?
I got 2 things.
Okay.
All right. The first, we're going to go with the bullpen. Until the end of April, so the calendar better say May, before I hear people complain about Rob Thompson's bullpen decisions. They have a lot of new pieces in that bullpen in different spots this year. And in the first month or so of the season, he's going to have to figure out who he wants to throw when. That could mean changes to the closer position, changes to the setup position, changes to who your lefty-on-lefty guy is. He's going to be feeling stuff out with guys. He's going to figure it out as the season goes on. You're not just going to have it down by day one.
So my only thing is if they had roles ever over the last 5 years, you may have already had that answer of who could do what. And I'm a role bullpen guy. I am.
I am too.
There's a mentality of pitching in the 8th versus pitching in the 9th. Two totally different mentalities. I saw Ryan Madsen be a horrible starter, middle reliever, closer. Once he got in the 8th inning, he was the bridge to Lidge, right?
And it was comfortable.
I seen Hector Neris pee himself in the 9th inning numerous times in a Phillies uniform. You pitch him in the 8th, deadly.
Yeah, well, they do have some roles. Like Joe Ross is your long relief guy. He's like the only one in the pen.
Yeah, but I'm talking about who's pitching in the 9th.
Romano's the closer. I'm telling you, Romano is the closer.
All right.
But there's a lot of stuff to figure out in there. Bullpen decisions in the first month are trying to figure out who your guys are, which with the turnover they had this offseason in the pen is totally warranted. They're still going to win plenty of games. The other thing, if the Phillies are at any point this season, before we get into the nitty-gritty of like the September division race, because it's going to be a fight to the end, if at any point they're more than 15 games above 500, be quiet. Like, just calm down. Because that is pacing them to basically 90 wins, which is right about where we all think they're going to be. Like, that is going to be the point where it's like, they are a good baseball team. Do not call them a bad baseball team. You can have complaints about certain things, but there is no, this team isn't going to get it done if they are more than 15 games above 500 at any point in the season.
This is why you're beautiful when it comes to the Phillies. It's the things you're allowed to complain about. You gave us 2 things you can't complain about until a certain day.
Yeah, well, you can complain about other stuff.
I sort of did the same thing.
No, I know, but
I mean, I sort of did the same
thing. We're going to complain about Taijuan Walker. We have every right to.
Yeah, but I said Taijuan Walker, absolutely you have a right to complain about, but don't blame Taijuan Walker. Blame the general manager, the president.
Now, I'll ask you this. What about W's and L's early on in the season? Because you have the May 12th date.
The Mother's Day date, that absolutely the Phillies must take advantage of the advantageous schedule that they have.
So if you see them putzing around a few games.
Well, no, I said May 12th.
Yeah.
I don't consume baseball like football, so
I understand.
I'm very patient with it as far as the most part. But individual performances, that's a little different.
All right, there's a lot to talk about today. We'll check our text messages for the first time this morning, coming up next at 610-632-0975. Can you be along for the ride with what will be a fun Philly season? How long are you willing to be patient for those of you who are not? We'd love to hear from you today. It's going to be a fun-spirited day. We got a lot of baseball stuff for you over the course of the show, as this is opening day for the 2025 Philadelphia Phillies season. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli, Bill Colarulo, and Ray Dunn. They have a lot to say about Philadelphia sports.
Florida here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic on opening day. Championship Thursday morning, but also opening day for the Philadelphia Phillies. And it's a joyous day. It's a holiday for me. I know it's a holiday for Connor. You asked me, John, is this my favorite of the opening days? I say yes. Is it your favorite of the opening days as well?
Well, I'm obsessed with the Eagles.
Yeah, opening night in the NFL is awesome.
But to me, if you're talking about opening day means so much as far as just and to me, it's always meant coming out a winner.
Yeah.
And for me, I hate the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
I like the when the weather warms up. I like it when we have more sunshine. So to me, I've always associated with a very happy memory. And for also too, like I think, some people will say Siri lives in their house. Tom McCarthy lives in our house.
Oh yeah.
Like this time of year where when my wife says, is T-Mac doing the game? Like, or something.
Yeah.
Is T-Mac doing the game, or are we going to watch one of those like network games? She hates the network games.
I agree.
Yeah, they hate us. She's convinced they hate us. And she's really gotten into the Phillies. I think since my wife's gotten into the Phillies too, it makes it even more.
That helps, yeah. Yeah,
like she's really into
Like I'm excited for Coop getting more and more into it. Like that's going to be a lot of fun.
Part of it's Nick Castellanos, I think, for
that
Christina,
helps.
let's be honest.
By the way, you mentioned Tom McCarthy's the voice of your house. Harry Callis' birthday was yesterday. So
Well,
rest
Harry's
in
as
peace.
good as it
Rest
gets.
in peace.
Harry's
Harry
last interview in Sports Talk Radio was with the Buck and Kincade show.
Was that right?
We had him on the Friday before he died.
Oh my God! How about
And
that?
I loved Harry. He was always
Yeah.
great. Knew him a long, long time, and just what a wonderful man.
That's amazing.
What a wonderful man.
The one thing I'll complain about.
What's that?
Day, 3:05 can't be the first game. It's got to be 12 o'clock.
Yeah. Why are
They-
they later games?
They do this. They do this all the time.
Well, it's for TV, I'm sure.
I know.
They used to open the season every year too in Cincinnati. It was the thing. Cincinnati. Are you guys too young to remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cincinnati got to have the first pitch every year.
Really? I don't know.
They had the first pitch every year because Cincinnati has a giant baseball parade
Okay.
for opening day and stuff like that.
Do they still do that for the 60-win Reds?
I don't think they get to do it. By the way, I like the Reds this year. Maybe I'm wrong, but I like the Reds.
No, they'll be a
And-
fun team. I don't think they're.
Fun. Yeah, fun.
Yeah.
No, fun.
They
team.
got
They'll
rid of
be
that.
the Pirates from
but
last
They
year.
got
they
rid of
used
that
to be-
bum, David Bell.
They used to
as
be
manager.
They used to be the team that got to have first pitch every year. Like they were the team that
That's
got to open
amazing.
up. Now it's great as then ESPN last night. The Dodgers begin their defense of their
I
world
know, I
title.
heard
No,
that.
liar, wrong, fire. You sold that off to Japan. You hoard your sport off
Oh, yeah,
to
that's
Japan.
right. They've already put. They're
You've
2-0.
already played. That's not that. The Dodgers begin defense of their. No, they don't. They did that last week, 2 weeks ago in Japan.
They're
because you're a
2-0,
bunch
baby.
of whores.
They're undefeated, man.
Serious.
They're on pace for 162-0. All right, let's check our text line this morning as today is a joyous day, opening day. I believe it's a joyous day for everybody, but just some of the mentality going into the season is where we're not seeing eye to eye with a lot of people. There are a lot of people going into this year like, oh, man, I'm worried about the same old, the approach and what's going to happen come playoff time. I'm just asking if you can be a part of the ride from now until the end of the regular season. However, to John's point, May 12th, that's a big day.
The day
where he
after
thinks
Mother's Day.
You need to be in first place. You mentioned Memorial Day. I'll give people trade deadline. If they don't acquire somebody that I think is necessary at the trade deadline, I will complain about it like I did last year, despite the Phillies having a ridiculous good record at the MLB trade deadline. So how long can you just be along for the ride, enjoying Phillies baseball in what will be a good season for the team? What do we got in the text line at 610-632-0975?
See, I love this text, and I also hate this text.
Okay.
Gina from Southwest Florida, who's been checking in on the Phillies pretty regularly with us on the show, has said stuff like, you're not going to win a World Series title with this current team. I don't see it. I'm over the daycare. Bryson Stott has a child in daycare. Like, she's been negative. She sends this text today. Thank you for reminding me that opening day is fun and all the promise it brings. Deep down, I want to be negative, but I keep reminding myself that at the start of the 2024 football season, I didn't see a Super Bowl win coming. So who knows? Maybe a World Series win is in our future. Today, the Phils are in first place without any losses.
I love that. Now, did she say deep down I want to be negative or don't want to be negative?
No, deep down, I want to be negative.
Why do you want to?
Because I think she believes that she knows the ending of the movie. There's nothing that I use the analogy way too often. It's I hate it in life when I feel like I'm bluffing myself because I think I already know the ending to this.
Well, yeah, I do that with the Sixers every year.
Yeah, and I it's so weird because I will look at you guys like with the Sixers and the whole Embiid thing and everything and go, and I'll just shake my head going, what have you guys not learned that you think this is finally going to work out?
I'm playing the violin, baby.
And then I'll do the same thing for something else and not see it in myself.
But here's the thing, but why want to be negative? Like,
because you want to, I think most people. And
softens the blow? Like, is that what it is?
Well, no, I think most people would like to be right about how they evaluate things in their life.
Yeah, it couldn't be me, but I get it.
But you want to be right. You don't want to have the wrong impression of somebody. You want to have the right impression. You want to have the right impression about your job and coworkers and neighbors and things like that. You don't want to be wrong on people.
I want to be negative. So I wake up, the alarm goes off, and I hit the button.
I think she doesn't.
I'm going to have a bad day.
No, she doesn't want to be negative. She wants to. Her gut instinct is telling her,
"Oh, okay.
you're gonna sucker yourself into believing again. You're
I'm
gonna
reading
get
too
hurt."
much into the word want.
Yeah,
today's gonna suck.
I need Phillies fans to understand something. There is some moron waking up right now on the south side of Chicago that is a White Sox fan.
The baddest part of town.
That has more confidence than some Phillies fans do in their team. Some White Sox fan out there's got to be an individual that looks at that team that almost set a major league record for losses last year and heads into the season and says, oh, hey, opening day, you never know. Like, this is the time of the year where you can bluff yourself. And Phillies fans, we don't have to because the team's going to be good. But even if you're like Gina and you're like, deep down, I feel bad about this team when it comes to their chances to win the World Series. There are teams that are in absolute crap that have fans waking up that are more positive than some people that are going to watch a 90-plus win baseball team. And to me, that's sad. So, enjoy it. If it's for a month, enjoy that month.
Do you want to know what the over-under is for the Chicago White Sox this season?
47.5.
That's a pretty good number. 44.5.
Well, then you might want to take the over because it's 54.5 this year for the Chicago White Sox.
You mean take the under?
I'll take the under. We both said
your over on your bets.
Oh, I would on ours.
Because
we would take
it's 54.5. So yes, you would take the under if you
I would
were.
Take the. I think I'd probably take the under.
One of the respective apps. Yeah, you're right, Connor. Like, there is a guy that's going to talk themselves into the White Sox. Like, it can't be worse than last year. Very well could. Your team stinks. The Phillies, worse than last year, would still be, I have them winning 92 games this year. We'll give our official predictions later on.
You just gave it. What are you doing?
I already said it. You made me say it on post-show headlines. It's your fault.
Great tease.
Well, we like the post-show headlines. Check it on out.
92 wins is less than last year. But that doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
No,
exactly.
It doesn't mean anything. All right, so coming up next, we'll reset today's topics. What I would like people to add to the bitch and complain guidelines. What we can or should not complain about, and how long we should not complain about certain things when it comes to the Philadelphia Phillies. Because I do know that not everybody's just going to be along for the ride. I get it. So what are some things that you're going to try to keep yourself from complaining about? Me, the Brandon Marsh experiment. I'm going to try my best, even though I've watched it for 3 years now. But I want to hear from other people as well. It's 610-632-0975. Also, John Kincade tells you something the Phillies are unlikely to do in a positive way. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Baseball's opening day. I'm Connor Thomas, and it's opening day for the 2025 MLB season. The long wait is over. The Phillies are going to open up the season in Washington today, taking on the Nationals at 4:05 p.m. Zach Wheeler will be on the mound facing off against Mackenzie Gore. Trey Turner will be leading off today. We'll see what the lineup holds in future days, but we know it's a change at least for game 1 of 162. Jason Stark joined the best show ever yesterday, talked about a bunch of Philly stuff, including why he's grown even more bullish on the Phillies now that spring training's over.
I think the outlook is right. I'm actually more bullish on the Phillies' chances after spring training than I was going into spring training.
So, a Hall of Fame baseball writer, his faith in the team's growing, and he believed in them a lot before spring training. So, hope springs eternal for a lot of teams, well, all teams on opening day, but a little more for your fighting Phils. The Sixers fell to the Wizards 119-114 last night. They're off till Saturday. Flyers take on the Canadiens tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. Kevin Nagandi will join us coming up at 9:10. Jeff Francoeur will join us at 9:25. This update is brought to you by Indeed.com. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs feature helps you stand out out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
.5 The Fanatic. Happy opening day to everybody who celebrates what will be a fun season for the Philadelphia Phillies. All right. And we're going to do a lot of baseball stuff over the course of the show today. So just a little teaser of what's to come. Around 7:25, Corey Seidman did a deep dive on the upcoming season for the Phillies and gave some good nuggets, including travel.
He does a good job. He doesn't do much radio, though.
No, he does not. He does not. Heard him on the best show ever last week.
He did. That's good.
Something non-baseball related. The LeBron James circus that took place yesterday.
It's unbelievable.
Can't wait to get into that.
No athlete likes hearing themselves talk more right now.
Uh-huh.
And I love LeBron. Like,
I know.
I've loved his whole career.
I know.
Like,
me too.
I just.
Me too. Yesterday was insane.
Gosh. Seriously.
We're going to give our official predictions all across the board around 8:30 today. And then 9 o'clock, we got a busy 9 o'clock hour for you today. Kevin Nagandi joins us straight up 9 o'clock as he does every single Thursday. Jeff Francoeur.
Yes.
Frenchie.
I had to reach out to Frenchie and get ready for the season. So
I mean, he's
sort of like
great.
my thing. So he'll join us a little bit later on today.
9:25. And then our
Pretty
man
good?
Johnny Brazier, director
Good.
of Fun and Games with the Phillies, joins us at 9:40. And I will tell you now, he's got some goodies to give away today.
Uh-oh.
Some tickets, lower level seats for an April game for the Fighting. So we got a lot in store for you today. But here's what we're talking about. Obviously, opening day in Major League Baseball, opening day for the Phillies. And it's a show where we are going to be the air of positivity for those of you. For those of you who have been looking for positive Phillies talk, you got it on this show. For those of you who are doom and gloom and already worried about the upcoming season, we're trying to be the beacons of light like we were weeks before the first game for the Philadelphia Eagles, in which led to a Super Bowl parade. Now, we're not saying that there's going to be a World Series parade, but to just ignore the fact that the Phillies are a really good baseball team it's sad that there are
I don't
people that are
understand.
like not hyped up for it today.
But it's genuine, though, and honestly, we're not trying to blow sunshine up your skirt.
No, and that's why we're saying this isn't we're not going to do the whole, you have a negative opinion, you can't come here.
No. In fact,
come to the
if
table.
people think our opinion, I'd rather hear it
Yeah, me too.
because I'd rather be right in the long run and be able to go nanny boo boo. But
Right,
like,
exactly.
but
Yeah, we
still,
want screenshots.
I do like that, so it's all right.
So that's why we have a couple
Because
questions.
we're wrong all the time. Not all the time. I was really,
Yeah, we
really
got
right.
we got a
I
good
was
track
really,
record
really
on this
right
show.
in Eagles season.
We got a good track record on this show.
Sometimes. It's only been a year.
When it comes,
We haven't had a chance to really
maybe
screw up.
is this the sophomore slump?
I don't think so. I don't think
sure
so.
hope not. You can text in at 610-632-0975. Answer these questions for us to start the show today. Can you, beginning today, just be along for the ride? Worry about the playoffs when the playoffs get here. Now, if there's moments in the season where you start saying, this is going to be a problem down the road, we can talk about it. And we will over the course of the season. We have to do daily talk show. All right, so we're going to react to a game. Tomorrow, we will react to whatever happens today. And if we're seeing bad base running and we're seeing more of the norm, are we going to say season over? Hell no. But are we going to point it out? Absolutely. But what we also want to try to find out from you guys today is how long we're doing the bitch and complain guidelines for the 2025 Phillies. Taijuan Walker's on the mound. Have at it. All right?
Yeah, but honestly, don't do it to Taijuan Walker.
No, do it to the organization.
Do it to the organization for putting you through it because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, they didn't want to write the
It's
check.
ridiculous that they don't have a backup plan for this.
Yes. Their backup plan to Ranger Suarez was once again Taijuan Walker.
And if it is a backup plan too, you're saying, well, they have guys in the bullpen that they just need to stretch out. They should have been stretching out. You should have been stretching them out.
Yeah, you can't really trust
Little
Ranger
longer.
Suarez and his health. But how long are you willing to wait to complain about certain things? We'd love to hear from you, 610-632-0975. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Now, before we get back to the text line, you sent me something this morning about the NL East and how the Phillies are the least likely of the teams to do this. Can you explain to the audience?
I'm going to tell you right now, it sounds in the phrasing that it could be negative, but it's positive. I'm telling you right now, and I will guarantee it. I'll look in the camera, Haley.
Well,
and
Haley wants you to do that.
I'm going to make sure that I look right in the camera. My daughter scolds me for that, too. She goes, I know Haley tells you to look in the camera. I'm looking right in the camera. Between the Phillies, the Braves, and the Mets, if one of those three teams ends up crapping out, going down in flames, being a colossal mess, the least likely of those three teams to do it is our team. The Phillies will not be that team. If one of them crashes and burns, it will either be the Mets or Atlanta, and I would absolutely leave to the Mets.
Yeah, I think the Mets would be the team that would fall apart if there was.
I
one.
would
They don't
lean
have a-
towards
they
the
don't have
Mets.
a pitching staff.
I would honestly, I'd lean to the Mets. That they would be the team. And I'm not saying the Mets will be that. But if someone said to me, look, those three teams, and I heard it said on Major League Baseball Network yesterday, the idea of just a clip that they had running is going, well, everybody assuming there's going to be three great teams in the NL East. It rarely works out like that. Something steps in. Mm-hmm. So I'm not talking about injury. But if you're just talking about the teams are expected to be as they're currently constituted, the least likely team to have the flame-out season is the Phillies. And I don't even think it's close. With that pitching staff, that is the best lifeblood for winning over 162. I saw the Braves firsthand do it over and over again where you put a great pitching staff out there, very deep, and just it sustains you. It gives you a chance to compete every year. The Phillies lineup is going to hit. Mm-hmm. They're going to have their lulls, but this team is the least likely to flame out. The Braves rotation, very top-heavy. It's like a trip to Hooters. Lot
Can't
going
go
on.
with that anymore. They're closing, remember?
I understand. Lot going on up top, but not as much down below. And then the Mets, I think that rotation is if I'll give you one here. If they were the California Angels, the LA Angels of Anaheim or whatever they call themselves, and they put out that starting rotation, nobody would pick them for the postseason.
Right. It's because
nobody would pick them.
They're starved for New York relevancy.
So
that's why there's so much talk about the Mets, and they got the Juan Soto deal, and there's going to be a lot of eyes on the Mets. I imagine, without looking at it, the Mets maybe have one of the higher amounts of national primetime games this year.
I would imagine they're going to be shoved down our throats.
I would imagine there's getting Subway Series, right? You know, that's coming at some point, which I do kind of like that stuff. But
as long as you can just have each of the fan bases just standing right in front of the trains, that would be fine. It's the only reason I want to hear Subway Series. It's so funny because New Yorkers actually believe, they're so freaking arrogant. They actually believe the rest of the country wants their crap. One of the worst rated World Series ever in the history of the game was when the Yankees played the Mets. Nobody gave a crap around the country because nobody cares.
By the way,
New York cares.
Shout out to Reddit.
Yeah?
The Dodgers have 21 scheduled national televised games. So ESPN, Fox, FS1, TBS, Apple, and the Roku game. The Mets are in second with 20. So just behind the Dodgers. I should have known that, being that the Dodgers are the Dodgers. The Phillies, by the way, are tied for fourth on this list with the Yankees at 17 games.
I don't think that's unfair. Like, remember, the Mets were in the NLCS last year, and they signed Juan Soto.
I understand. It's just be ready. Like this, to John's point, if they had this roster with the Angels, the other
nobody
team
would look at that rotation and
you're
go,
right.
Yeah,
that's a team.
They go, all right, they got Juan Soto. Let's put him on national television 10 times. The Brewers are on it 10 times this year, right? Good baseball team. But they're not going to win anything.
Nah,
the Mets aren't winning anything this year. That rotation's not good. The only thing that they can do to win something this year is be major buyers at the deadline. Now, knowing their owner, they're going to try to do it. Like, I could see the Mets being buyers at the deadline if all they need is pitching.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if Sandy Alcantara doesn't reside in New York by the time August rolls around.
Yeah, he's going to be on the block.
Okay, wait. I know when you say that. I was reading something yesterday, though. The Mets minor league system is not like it's chock full of top candidates to be able to come in there.
Yeah, it's not like the Marlins know how to make a good trade.
I don't think that they'd put him in the division.
Well, I really don't. Remember, I said New York. I didn't say the Mets.
Oh, I got you.
Garrett Cole done for the year. The Yankees will be the other team.
I got you. Okay. Very good point, Colin.
See, there you go. All right,
what about two teams there?
What do we got on the text line? What are the people saying? Do we have more positive vibes today on opening day now that we're finally here?
Believe it or not, all of a sudden, people are starting to get excited about the fight.
This is sort of like all the creeps that all year long told you that the Eagles were going to lose to the Packers. And then, like 3 days before the game, it's like, no, now they're going to beat the Packers.
Who did that?
I can't remember exactly who it was.
We'll research. We'll get a name for you,
There
Johnny.
were people who did that all summer long. They warned you about the Packers.
So we have a check-in here, no name, but they say, I get the concerns coming into the season, but if you think I'm not going to enjoy some Fightins baseball, you're crazy. Let's see how the journey begins and reevaluate at Memorial Day, like you guys said. That's usually the first standings check for most logical fans, isn't it?
Memorial Day is when I refuse to obsess on them, but I really do look at this and say to yourself, the schedule is very favorable for the
Now I agree. Most logical
early.
fans. Here's the thing: how many fans are logical?
Are
Like
we?
that.
Are we?
Not all the time.
Are we?
You're
though?
logical, John.
I think I'm way too logical.
You carry
And I
the
think I'm too
logical weight on this show. I appreciate you for doing that.
But I think I'm too logical at times.
At times.
So
That's fine.
right. So
A lot of things are too at times.
Exactly.
But, All right, coming up next.
yeah, why don't you pump the brakes there, cowboy?
Speaking of divisions and who could flame out and such, yesterday we did that ESPN deep dive of the Phillies. They did a deep dive of every single division in baseball. So we'll look at what they said about the NL East, the people that cover these teams, this league for a living. And again, I'm doing this on purpose because a lot of you who are doom and gloom about the Phillies, the national media thinks more highly of the Phillies than you do. Who do they have coming out on top of the division? You'll find out next. It's Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico, and Silvana Kelleher.
here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic on opening day. Talking a lot about the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll get back to our text line here momentarily as we try to find out what some of the bitch and complain guidelines will be for the Phillies. Because I understand that not everybody can go through the entire season with, sitting on their hands. Everybody's got to do the Twitter fingers. Everybody's got to be upset about everything. I understand it, especially with the way the seasons have ended the last couple of years.
I totally understand anybody who's frustrated with the Phillies.
Yes.
I understand the frustration. To make it seem like they're living a terrible life right now and it's horrible to be a Phillies fan.
Yeah.
Just sounds stupid.
Yeah, your
it
Lamborghini got towed. Guess what? It's still a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Go to the parking lot and get it back from the PPA.
Damn right.
Get over
See,
it.
and I like a more car you don't have to maintain as much. So.
Man, and I am anti-PPA.
There you go. There we go.
I think we all are.
Yeah. Hey, come on, man. It's just the devils of the city. All right, so ESPN did a deep dive of each division. So yesterday we did the individual teams. We obviously only focus on the Phillies. And they did a deep dive of each division. So they had 28 people from ESPN vote on the different divisions.
Okay.
So
28.
28.
Okay, I take this very legitimately.
All right. Their pick to win the NL East with 18 votes, the Atlanta Braves. The Phillies got 9. The Metropolitans got 1.
Yeah, I don't see the Mets winning this division. So
Neither do I. So
not with that rotation over 162.
No.
Does that mean they can win a 5-game series
Absolutely
in October?
Bats get hot. Bats got hot. We saw it last year against the
Absolutely.
Phillies.
No question.
So here are the two talking points.
So double. The Braves got double the Phillies votes.
Yes. So let's see what they say about it. Atlanta is once again the preseason division favorite. How can the Phillies beat out a fully healthy Braves squad? Well,
They're not fully healthy.
First and foremost, network, they're not fully healthy. It's mostly about starting pitching. I'm a big believer in what Christopher Sanchez has done this spring. Just look at his strikeout rate. If he has truly elevated his skill set to at least Aaron Nola's tier, if not a half step behind Zach Wheeler's, which is crazy, and Jesus Luzardo can stay healthy as well as pitch the way he did in 2023, then the Phillies' rotation isn't simply as good as the Braves. It's a clear step better. Yes, the Braves have all those bad luck injury rebound candidates to potentially elevate their win total, but the Phillies did have 6 wins on them in the 2024 standings and have every bit as a tantalizing 2025 season ceiling. But that's the thing, to beat out a fully healthy Braves squad, they're missing.
They're not fully healthy.
Their ace and their MVP.
They're missing their ace they're missing their ace for a month. They're missing their MVP probably for 2 months. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you can ever say that that's a totally healthy.
I mean, they still have a great team. They do.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Braves are a great baseball team, and this is going to come down to the wire. I just know that it will.
Yeah, we have to think about this. Anyone who's annoyed, how could they not pick the Phillies after being division champs last year?
No, I get it.
No, and I know you guys aren't saying that, but someone out there may be. If the Eagles won the NFC East 10 out of 11 years and then just had a weird year where a bunch of guys get hurt and then come back next year, we'd all be like, they're going to win the division. It is a lock. I understand why people would say that about the Braves with their track record.
Yeah, I mean,
I really don't. Well, we'll talk about when we make our picks, but I think that even if the Braves were healthy, I think the Phillies could beat them out.
Oh, they could.
Because of the starting pitching.
But if they're two close teams and one has the pedigree in the division and the other one has won 1 in 13 years,
they do.
They get the nod.
Yeah, they do have the pedigree.
No, they do have the pedigree.
Here's the other talking point. Despite landing Juan Soto this offseason, you were the only person to pick the Mets to win the NL East. Explain your reasoning. This is Kylie McDaniel. The Braves are a better team on paper, especially given the Mets' recent run of injuries, but I think New York's willingness to spend and its depth, particularly of prospects in the upper minors, are being underrated as solutions to many of these problems. Brett Beatty, Acuna, Mauricio, Ryan Clifford, Drew Gilbert, a billion names. Young pitchers linger in the upper minors. Only 2 or 3 players need to play better than expected in addition to the widely expected breakout from Clay Holmes to bridge that gap.
I think, what's her name?
Kylie McDaniel.
Kylie? I don't know. I don't buy that at all. And by the way, I would bet that The Phillies and the Braves have every bit of the minor league. If they wanted to go all in, they have every bit of the top talent that could get something that would make a difference at the trade deadline.
Yeah, where's this widely expected Clay Holmes breakout thing?
I have no idea.
Because he is not going to break out.
By the way, respectfully, Kylie McDaniel is a man.
What?
Never heard a Kylie
What?
as a man.
Interesting.
ESPN Baseball Inside, guys.
Kylie?
Yeah.
Is it just Kyle with a misspelling?
No, Kiley.
Kiley?
Yeah.
It's got to be an Irish name.
Okay,
isn't it?
parents.
Maybe
All right.
maybe it's like Kelly.
All right, parents, stop it.
Kelly McDaniel.
Stop it.
Come on,
There's
man.
no need
Yeah,
to be.
this is-
There's no need to be doing this.
Hey, maybe it's a family name.
There's no
respectfully.
need to be confused. Oh, wait a minute.
Respectfully.
Wait a minute. As I said, we were just talking about this earlier. Is that when you're naming kids, it could be a Southern thing.
Could be.
Because in the South, they take last names and make them first names.
Or he's Irish. He's Kelly McDaniel.
Kelly McDaniel,
St. Patty's Day wasn't that long ago.
Dylan McKinnon.
So when you see this, like, look, they have the Braves as the team they think will win the division. These are people that are covering baseball.
That's okay.
There's no, they're not picking the Braves just to pick the Braves.
No hurt feelings.
But I don't have to agree with their analysis.
No, I don't either.
All right.
And I don't.
What do we got on the text line, Connor?
All right, we have
Highly.
a check-in here from John V. Short but sweet, and says, I'm so bleeping excited for the start of Phillies baseball and a long, enjoyable season.
Good.
Okay, who is that?
John V. Now, he's given
John
us some
V.
positive texts. He's not just a recent come around, but it's nice to see that people are having positive thoughts on the Phillies this morning.
I
That's what
like
we're trying
John
to
V.
do. Today's a holiday, man. Like, I get it. You know what? Christmas Eve, yesterday's the eve of opening day. Christmas Eve can be stressful. You're preparing for the big day. You know, you're making sure Santa's got everything ready to go.
Yeah, because you check with Santa.
Yes.
You have to text Santa or check the line.
I know my family, we host Christmas, so we do a lot of the meal prep the night before, all that kind of
Okay.
stuff. This is after we went to the Christmas Eve dinner at my sister and brother-in-law's house, so busy time. But that doesn't mean I'm going to allow it to impact my Christmas day.
Okay.
So don't let your worries of the day before opening day ruin your day today.
Yeah, don't let that happen.
And if the Phillies lose, God forbid.
Oh my God.
God forbid the show
You
tomorrow.
did say that. You did. You're both.
no, Connor- Connor's the one that
You're
said
both
it.
saying it. You're both saying it. Like
Connor's
tomorrow.
right. If they lose today, people are going to be going nuts.
You're
This
saying, like,
team stinks.
Tomorrow morning's gonna be like
Same old.
Here it comes. See, you
Oh,
guys
beat
are
him with
wrong.
Wheeler.
Brandon Marsh going up against a lefty today. Opening day. Can't hit him.
You guys are wrong.
Oh, wait, that might be me.
I'm telling you, I said it once, the Trey Turner leadoff home run in Kyle Schwarber's spot is going to be hilarious today.
I need it. I need Trey Turner I need small ball in the first inning so I can go to all the people that kept on telling me they can only score this way.
I like this. I feel very good. I think people are coming around.
Hell
I
yeah,
told you
man.
they would. Much like the cowards
By
with
the
the
way-
Eagles last year.
You asked me what my Phillies fit would be. Very on brand.
Yeah, it's
Phillies,
good. Very
Phillies
on
hoodie.
brand.
I got the nice jacket.
See, I like the jacket a lot. Looks like you're coming in out of the bullpen.
This is my uncle's father's jacket.
Ricky
when
Bowe
when
wore
he
one
passed
of them at
away,
his playing day.
he passed
Really?
it down to me.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, so I love this jacket.
Hey, look, tugs
About
at the
that.
heartstring.
All right, coming up next, I mentioned Corey Seidman. That was a good job covering the Phillies for NBC Sports
I
Philadelphia.
wish I heard more of him on radio.
He gave some good nuggets on the Phillies going into opening day. We'll go through those coming up next. We'll have to read his words.
Uh-oh. Here
It's
we go.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phils are set to start their season. I'm Connor Thomas, and it's opening day for the 2025 MLB season. The long winter wait is over for baseball fans, and the Phillies open up the season on the road in Washington today. A 4:05 p.m. game against the Nationals with Zach Wheeler taking the bump, facing off against Mackenzie Gore. Trey Turner will be in the leadoff spot, so a little bit of a change there, at least for the time being, for the Phillies. But there's a lot of expectations on this year's team, and Jason Stark, who has been high on the Phillies since spring training started, joined the best show ever yesterday and talks about why he likes them even more now that spring training's over.
I think the outlook is bright. I'm actually more bullish on the Phillies' chances after spring training than I was going into spring training.
It's the day where hope springs eternal for all of baseball's teams, but it springs a little bit more here in Philadelphia. The Sixers fell to the Wizards 119-114 last night. They're off till Saturday. The Flyers take on the Canadiens tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. Kevin Nagandi will join us coming up at 9:10. Jeff Francoeur at 9:25. This update's brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Baseball season is here.
26 on Kincade Salciunas. I feel like the Philly shirt is back out from Connor.
No, that's something that he created for himself.
My God, the aroma.
I tell you, Haley's rocking her opening day gear,
Yep.
which like two young poor Chinese children, had
what is it? One of the fake jerseys?
Had to sew for her
I respect the grind.
before they finished their dinner. They like two 8-year-olds in a factory getting Haley's.
She probably spent $12 on that.
Haley's
jersey.
knockoff collection it's one of her greatest things that I admire.
I used to do it.
She has a great wardrobe of ears, but man,
The only problem. So my sister,
Connor, you're foul.
my sister was a big Claude Giroux fan.
Oh, I'm the only guy to ever fart at 97.5 The Fanatic.
My sister was a big Claude Giroux fan,
Uh-huh.
not for hockey purposes. She just thought he was cute.
Okay,
And
Claude Giroux.
when I was younger, I was like, all right, what do I get her for Christmas? So I was like, you know what? Let me buy her a Claude Giroux jersey. She's 4 years older than me, so I was young. So I didn't really have all that much money. So I went on one of those websites. And I got the Claude Giroux jersey, and you could see the former number 1 behind the 2. It was the Jeff Carter jersey that they just took the 1 off of
Oh, no.
and put a 2 over it, so you still saw the outline of the 1. And I'm like, there you go. Merry Christmas. Here's your Claude Giroux jersey.
Did she like it?
Yeah, she wore it probably twice.
Hey, that's eco-friendly.
Yes, it is. They didn't waste.
It's good for the planet. Real quick, I
Yes.
just have to say, because my dad's on his way into work today, it is his final day going into work. He
my
retires
gosh.
today. So shout out Mr. Thomas, Papa T. He is heading into his final day in the workforce.
Okay,
Love you, Dad.
That is so fantastic.
That's amazing. Shout out Papa T. Also, we had an officer yesterday.
Oh, wait! I got to make sure we
Officer Savage.
Officer,
Officer
yeah,
Savage.
you remember?
Good
I wrote
job,
it down.
Connor.
Officer Savage yesterday on Temple's campus.
Yes.
I get excuse me, sir.
Yeah, you're thinking you did
And
something.
I'm thinking, and Liv and I are walking together,
Oh,
and and we're coming out of Maxie's.
yeah.
And neither one of us would have failed the
Did you buy
breathalyzer.
that underage?
Neither one of
girl?
us would have failed the breathalyzer.
She's underage.
But Officer Savage stopped me. Had a nice conversation. He wakes up every day and drives to work with Kincade Salciunas.
Well, thank you for your service, first of all.
First of all, yes.
And then, of
And
course.
thank you. I told him, thank you for keeping my little girl safe
Damn right.
on that campus.
Yep.
And Officer
I know
Savage is
know all
kicking
about
ass.
it. Yep. Hell
He
yeah.
is
Thank you,
good
Officer
We
Savage.
appreciate it.
All right, so Corey Seidman, NBC Sports Philadelphia, did his pre-opening day story about
Sure.
the Philadelphia Phillies. The title is still one of MLB's best rosters. Phillies World Series or bust season set to begin, and that's what it is. Like, it is World Series or bust unless you're losing to the Dodgers in the NLCS. Like, I'll tip my cap if it's the Dodgers.
Now, I always like it when people have these disclaimers on seasons. So it's a World Series or bust. Does it mean get to the World Series or it's a losing season, or win the World Series
No, it's
or
win.
it's a losing season? You're saying win?
It's absolutely win.
Okay, interesting.
Wow, I'm telling you this right now.
You get
I'm
to the
not
dance, I'm
not
happy.
joining this pity party. If the Phillies make the World Series and have a great season, and we lose to a better team, or
Yeah.
we lose, I mean,
It is what it
refuse to be like that was a disappointing season.
Yeah.
No. Here's the thing. You make it to the World Series, you will not lose to a better team. You will lose to a lesser team. There's no team in the American League that is as good as the Phillies.
To your point, I forgot to get to this in that ESPN article I gave you where they have the Braves
Okay.
winning the division.
Sure.
They also did their votes of the 28 panelists of who will win the World Series. And as you can imagine, 20 of the 28 votes went to the LA Dodgers. The Phillies got 3, which is second, by the way. The
Okay.
Braves got 2. And then the Red Sox, Rangers, and Mariners all got 1. I'm telling you right now, the Mariners are not going to win the World Series. But the Dodgers, it's the top 3 teams are the National League squads. What they're basically telling you is the winner of the World Series will be from the National League. It's going to be the Dodgers, Phillies, or Braves. That's what they're telling
Okay.
you. So I get what you're saying, Connor. But here's some of the nuggets from this story.
Oh, get your nuggets, by the way. Activate your Chick-fil-A app.
By 10:30 today. Yeah.
By 10:30, activate your
for
app.
chickens last
12
That was
count.
fun.
Amazing.
12 count today. Thank you, Sixers.
He talks about the division, and he says, look, the Braves will be better. Ronald Acuna Jr. is expected back from his ACL injury in May. Spencer Strider could be back in late April or May. Those 2 returns alone are equivalent to adding 2 $300 million players in free agency. The 2024 Braves were ravaged by injuries and underperformance from players like Ozzie Albies, Sean Murphy, and Matt Olson. Chris Sale and Marcelo Ozuna vastly exceeded expectations. Overall, the Braves should be a 92 to 95 win team. Same for the Phillies. So he thinks it's coming down to the wire. He said the NL East race should be tight all year, unlike 2024 when the Phillies led by at least 5 games every day after May 19th. Now, here's something, schedule nugget,
Okay.
that Corey gives us here. The first 2 series are on the lighter side against the Nationals and Rockies. Colorado has the inside track to being the National League's worst team again this year. That's offset by the next 2 series, Dodgers and Atlanta. 2 fun early season tests. Now, as we talked about yesterday, John, Atlanta will be missing Ronald Acuna Jr. and Spencer Strider in that series.
So you get the first, you're going to have to play twice in Atlanta this year, but the first 3, you don't have to deal with Strider or Acuna. That's a win.
Here's a couple other nuggets. The Phillies see every team in the division in April.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'm all right
opening
with
the
it.
season.
Then face only the Braves in May, around Memorial Day. They end the season with 20 NL East games in their final 35. Now, obviously, Braves-Mets, you go, all right, we'll see how that goes. But that's also Marlins and Nationals. And the Nationals might be a fun little team this year, but come that end of the season, it's going to be, the Nationals will be well out. There are 3 West Coast trips, one in May, one in July, and then the one that you mentioned in September. That's going to be daunting.
Second to the last week of the year, you go 3 Dodgers, 3 Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
On the road. And if you're expecting to be in a tight divisional race, that's why the early season matters.
Right.
Because you got to have a buffer.
Yeah.
Got to have a buffer going in.
Because the ones in May, it's Rockies and the Sacramento A's. You should handle your business there. The one in
better take care of
July,
that. Padres, Giants, right?
it's Padres, Giants, then Padres, but it goes into the All-Star break. So it's like, all right, these are your last couple games before we get to the break. That September one's a little daunting. However, he adds one more nugget. The Phillies are, fortunately, in the middle of pack in travel miles this year. Because we evaluate all this kind of
sure
stuff.
you do, yeah.
Especially after last year when they were in Seattle for a series. They were in London for a series. Who knows how much that threw them off. You pinpointed the record multiple times post-London series.
They blew that second game. They gave up the lead in the second game and lost to the Mets. Mets take off. Phillies went in the tank.
Basically.
I blame it on Meghan Markle. But that's a whole nother.
How dare she?
Hey, Suits is great. Leave her alone.
D actress.
Corey ends his article with a long, sort of the expectations, and he says it's World Series is bust. He says it's, if you beat the Dodgers, you should. If the Dodgers are not in the World Series, the Phillies are in the World Series.
Okay.
And I like
That's
that.
cool.
I like that.
Corey went nerd boy on that one. I like it.
Oh, there's a lot more to it. I just didn't give you everything because we talked about a lot of the stuff that he wrote. But
Jason Starks, by the way, must reads this week.
Oh, always.
Starks always great.
I love Jason.
He's got great stuff.
All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor?
We have a lot of positivity today.
Good.
Out of nowhere. After all the negativity earlier
Told
in the
you.
week.
Welcome.
I got no issue
Love
with that.
it.
Marty from Delaware says, I'm along for the ride. I love baseball. The baseball season is the only season I never want to see end. I know this team will make the playoffs. Can't wait for another Red October. You can't take those for granted.
No, you can't take them for granted.
Can't.
You can't because it went 10 years before we saw one. I went 10 years of a playoff drought. I still remember. I did an Instagram post of the 10 years that I went through from the Phillies making the playoffs in 11 to when they finally got back in 2022. Dude, I graduated high school, got accepted to and graduated college, which were impressive feats in their own right.
Okay.
I got married. I had a kid. Like, I don't take these for granted because I went through 10 years without playoffs, and then in my childhood years, I went my first 14 years of my life. And that was my favorite team. My favorite team. With all due respect, I love Doug Glanville and his podcast, but I was watching Doug Glanville, Man Center. Now I'm watching Bryce Harper play on a daily basis. Don't take these for granted.
No, don't take it for granted. There's this organization has given you windows. It's given you a window from back in the day, 76 to 81. Mm-hmm. And then 83 ended up being the blip on the radar day, but it was 76 to 83. Then they gave you the 2007
it's
to
just
2000.
been blips.
It's just blips. Enjoy it. Soak it in. And it's a beautiful day. The sun's coming up.
I can see it behind me.
It's going to be gorgeous.
Through the window there. It's beautiful.
It's going to be gorgeous.
All right, coming up next, we are going to put baseball talk on hold for a second.
Okay.
Because yesterday, was a wild day in the life of LeBron James, not on the court. A crazy appearance on the Pat McAfee show, which included taking a shot at a Philadelphia media member, Johnny.
What did he say about you? I'll take that LeBron
He said,
out.
I was never coming there, Andrew. We'll talk about it all next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. The first hour and 40 minutes have been all opening day talk, as it will continue to be all opening day talk following this segment. But if you were not online yesterday, you missed an insane day in the life of LeBron James and the media. So just to kind of give you a quick spark notes of what led to yesterday. LeBron James obviously has his son Bronny in the NBA on the jobs program, as John
It's
says.
the LeBron James jobs program. People who don't deserve to be there.
And it's gotten embarrassing at times this year, and media members have called it out, and Stephen A. Smith has kind of been the guy that does the majority of it because he's on every single day. And it is the Lakers, it is LeBron, and so it's major market, historic team, historic player, it's talking points, and it became a bit of a fiasco for that team. And so Stephen A. Smith and a lot of other media members had to talk about it, including, Chuck and Shaq on the NBA on TNT. So it's not just a Stephen A. Smith thing. But then, fast forward, at one point this year, LeBron James confronted Stephen A. Smith and went up to him and was talking to him
Keep
during
my
the break.
son's name out of your mouth.
Yeah, he basically pulled the Will Smith without the smack.
Which is hilarious because you got your son a job that he didn't deserve. He's allowed to be criticized, big boy.
And he never took unnecessarily shots.
No. He just talked about him as a player.
Hey, he's not ready to be in the NBA.
He doesn't belong here.
And you're kind of forcing this to happen, which is true. I mean, there were stories that came out draft night that basically said, "Hey, we don't care where Bronny goes," and then it was, "Hey,
He's
you better not
only
draft
going.
him.
Don't
He's
draft
only going
him.
to the
He's
Lakers.
only going to the Lakers.
If anybody else drafts him, he's going to go play in the Euro Leagues for a year." It became to that point.
And our lives would have been greatly affected by that.
Yeah,
decision.
exactly. And so Stephen A. Smith, I still remember calling complete BS on the show. We did the show when he said the whole, "Man, I knew this was going to come up. I don't want to be a part of the story." Yes, you do, Stephen A. I respect Stephen A. Smith for what he has been able to accomplish, but let's face it, you do like the attention. The attention is what gives you ratings.
Yeah.
It's what
Smoking crack.
He just got a 5-year, $100 million contract and the availability to still be on General Hospital as part of his
big.
deal.
The attention has given him a lavish lifestyle.
It does.
Now, LeBron James also has gotten weird this year, talking about how he never wanted to be the face of the league. And it's
BS.
Stop lying. Everybody's got to stop lying when it comes to this storyline. So yesterday...
It's hilarious, too, is that he's been a great face of the league.
He has been.
He's been fantastic as a face of the league.
So yesterday, he went on the Pat McAfee show, which is, of course, a part of ESPN.
It's Bro Week.
And I have to rip LeBron for something in a little bit. But before we do that, I do want to play a couple of clips for you. First, he took a shot. So a lot of this was ripping the media, which, again...
yes, the big bad media.
I'm going to rip LeBron for in a couple of minutes here.
Yeah.
But he took a shot at somebody locally.
What?
As we all remember, Marcus Hayes had I still say, completely out of line story.
Completely.
About Joel Embiid earlier this year when it came to mentioning his brother who has passed away and his son. And I thought that was completely out of line. The genesis of the story was not off base. It was going out of line saying you're basically disrespecting your brother's life and your son. What do we... Come on, dude. That's...
Well, first off, he never knew his brother.
Right.
So keep his name out of your mouth.
Yeah, and Marcus Hayes.
But
is
that's
way out of
exactly
line
what
there.
Marcus Hayes looks to do. That's his fastball.
Well,
And
it
he's
wasn't.
and he doesn't have a second pitch, I believe.
It wasn't just caught here locally. Take a listen to LeBron yesterday on his own.
What's going on and other guys. I seen something with Embiid where a reporter came into the locker room and started speaking about, I think his brother or something.
Yeah.
How weird is that? That's so weird. Why are we taking it to that point?
So he was talking about Marcus Hayes, which LeBron James saw the article.
There it is.
And then one more. Everybody thinks Wendy and LeBron are simpatico, right? That's been
yes.
Wendy has followed LeBron James because of they knew each other in high school, and that's why Brian Windhorst has become the reporter that he is. And I think Wendy does a good job. Well, apparently that relationship is not what people think. Here's LeBron on ESPN, Pat McAfee show, talking about Brian Windhorst, who's on the show following, right? He does the NBA TV. He's probably sitting in the prep room going, "Oh, what's LeBron going to say?" And take a listen to LeBron taking shots at Wendy.
Wendy.
Yeah, you played with Ross.
Wendy, you guys played together in high school.
Yeah,
right?
same
He was on your high school.
This guy was says he's my best friend. These guys are just weird.
And there were
there
were many expletives.
What an unnecessary, though.
It was an unnecessary shot.
Absolutely unnecessary.
Totally unnecessary shot. Now, there's more to the clip. LeBron was upset because earlier this year, when the "I don't want to be the face of the league" conversation happened, that LeBron brought up on his own, which I don't understand. Stop lying.
Correct.
Wendy went on the show the next day and was like, no, he does want to be the face of the league. He wore number 23 because Michael Jordan wore number 23, which LeBron said in that clip. He is right about that. But then he said LeBron picked the Nike brand because Jordan was a Nike brand. And he said, that's not true. They just offered me the most money, blah, blah, blah.
That could be true.
That could be true. And then he goes off on this
It would
tangent.
be easy for somebody to believe it, especially how much he tried to model Jordan.
Right.
That potentially he would have chosen to just be a Nike guy too.
And so he goes on this tangent. Now, the genesis of this conversation, he was on with McAfee for like an hour, was he was complaining about the media and how the media is hurting the sport of basketball. So you know me, John. I love the NBA.
You do.
I'm not just watching Sixers, right?
You love them far more than they deserve to be loved.
Absolutely. And so when LeBron rips the media because the game's hurt because of the way the media talks about the game, I want to ask you guys this question. Now, I'm an outlier, I believe, in this conversation because I love basketball.
All right.
When's the last time you talked hoops with like your buddies? Not Sixers, like NBA. When's the last time you were like at a bar or whatever and you're talking about the Thunder or you're talking about Jokic?
No.
Yesterday.
Okay. Well, there you go. I don't get the sense that the NBA is being talked about as much as it used to be. It was on the rise a couple years ago.
The numbers show that they're not.
And that's the thing. The only people that are still talking about the NBA on a daily basis are the people that LeBron was ripping yesterday. I'm not going to say he should thank them, but like ESPN has so much stock in the NBA. They're major partners. He's ripping Stephen A. Smith. Dude, the only reason why you're talked about is because of these guys.
Well,
the NBA is plummeting, dude. It's really, really bad this year.
the NBA, but LeBron James, no. Like, the NBA
Yes,
could be
that's true.
terrible, and LeBron will be talked about. He's one of, like, the top 5 most influential athletes on this planet.
But is he talked about in the right way?
No, I mean,
Like a lot of
This
it
year
is,
not, because
what
it's
has
been
he
more
been
about
talked
his
about? He's
son.
been talked about the fact that he bullied the NBA into getting his son a job, which he never ever deserved.
no, I get that. I also think some of this, I think media has become such an all-encompassing term that sometimes we misrelate what people talk, like what athletes talk about when they bring up media. Like, media almost includes everybody.
Yeah, but it
You're
doesn't.
right.
Though. If you don't have, look, how about this? You're not media if you don't have access.
But that's John Kincaid's rule.
You're,
Yeah, but you know what?
No,
I think-
no, it isn't.
but I think
you have to
LeBron-
be. Media means you cover a team. You cannot cover a team from your living room. You cannot cover a team by watching games on TV because you have zero insight on the team. You never talk to a player. You never go in the clubhouse. You never talk to a general manager. You don't have insight. All you have is an opinion. Now, you can be a great fan, but what you are is a spirited fan but you're not media.
And notice, like, Kevin Durant has ripped podcasters in the past. LeBron was talking about Stephen A. Smith, Brian Winter. He brought up Marcus Hayes, right? Like, that means he knows who's covering the league and who's not covering the league.
That was more of a general sports thing
Connor,
than this LeBron thing.
Connor, we have people who claim to be, I cover the Eagles. They never go to. They're not in the Eagles practice, a game, or
it's
whatever.
not my association of what media is, but players may see it differently in the year 2025 when a lot more people have platforms.
Then they should put down their phones.
It was just an insane day that he just went scorched earth. But then again, like, dude,
I didn't disagree with a lot of what
I know,
he
but
said.
the only people that are still talking about the NBA is the media.
And without them, they'd continue to plummet even more.
It's getting bad. And you know what? Who's to blame? LeBron is part of it.
Sure is.
You're the one that's doing the load management.
There it is.
You're the one that's created super teams. You are part of the blame, not the media.
He doesn't want to hear that.
No, he doesn't. All right, coming up next, we'll get back to baseball, I promise. We reset today's topics. We'll hear from you. It's Kincade Salciunas on opening day here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Baseball season begins. I'm Connor Thomas, and it's opening day for the 2025 MLB season. The long winter wait has come to an end. The Phillies will start their 2025 season today in Washington, taking on the Nationals. 4:05 p.m. is the time for first pitch. That will be thrown by Mackenzie Gore of the Nationals. Zach Wheeler is on the mound for your Fightin' Phils. And Trey Turner will get the first at bat of the year for the Phillies, batting in that leadoff spot. We will see how long they let him hit in the leadoff spot for. Jason Stark joined the best show ever yesterday, and he talked about something interesting, why he was high on the Phillies going into spring training, and he believes in them even more now.
I think the outlook is bright. I'm actually more bullish on the Phillies' chances after spring training than I was going into spring training.
They're a talented team, and while hope springs eternal for every fan base on opening day, should be a little bit more here in the city of Philadelphia. The Sixers fell to the Wizards 119-114 last night. They're off till Saturday. Flyers take on the Canadiens tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. We'll talk to Kevin Negandhi coming up at 9:10. Jeff Francoeur at 9:25. This update is brought to you by True Green. Get a golf course quality lawn for less than you think. Sign up at truegreen.com. That's TRUgreen.com. True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Vacation? Business trip? Don't worry.
Day here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Happy opening day. Bless you. Bless you.
There's the second one.
I mean, you can hear him from my mic.
What are you,
am I gonna-
allergic
what
to
am I gonna
baseball
do?
season?
No. Johnny's fired up. I'm fired up. You're fired up. And for the most part, our texters have been fired up this morning, which is great, which is why today we're trying to figure out if you can go along for the ride and not totally worry about the playoffs until the playoffs get here. If there is a timeline where you need to see things clicking, what is that timeline for you? And we do want to come up with the bitch and complain guideline.
Yes.
Because there are going to be things that you're going to complain about early on in the season. We all will. Give one,
Can I add
please.
one extra?
Yes.
Happy opening day to all who celebrate out there. Stop with the stupid text. I've seen it already 4 times this morning.
I was talking about
You're
Salciunas
not
then.
original. You're not original. Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't do it.
You said it.
Yeah, I said it.
Well, that's
Start of the show.
4 people already. I'm like, okay, I've seen it.
We're on
Not
before everybody
creative,
else.
not fun. It's okay.
What if people text you Merry Christmas? Is there too many Merry Christmas texts to get?
No, it's the I'm pithy. I'm going to find the pithy. Come on, you got to come up with a new one. Just come up with a new one. Make something funny up. Come up with a new one.
Belated baseball season.
Look, do it.
I meant more so the Phillies, but that's a complaint
There you
that you're
go.
allowed to have. I'm trying to think, like, base running is one thing that bothers you a lot.
Oh, it gets me terrible.
Would it bother you if you see it right away, bad base running?
Oh, yeah. Because, again, the number one thing that I'm looking for is, and that's why I went and saw all the quotes, all the things that Rob Thompson, all the things that Dave Dombrowski, and even the things that Kevin Long promised, stated, said they had to do. And Dave Dombrowski's on the record. We need to be a smarter team in the base paths. We need to learn. They make boneheaded decisions. They run themselves out of innings. So absolutely, I will complain about that and we'll watch that.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to make John Kincade make a caveat to that statement.
Okay, what would it be?
What do we got?
And it's going to be about one player specifically.
Is it Trey?
When Trey Turner bats in the leadoff spot, he is exempt for at least the first 2 months from complaints about base running.
Dude, I don't think you've ever heard me complain about Trey Turner once, except the one time he got picked off.
No, I got you.
As far as on the base paths, I'm absolutely fine, and I am an advocate for an aggressive team on the base paths. I've wanted this forever, so I'm willing to take the occasional. He doesn't get thrown out much.
No, he doesn't. But
So
he may
I'm-
be more aggressive on the base
I am
paths.
all for it, but it's not going to be the stupid Bryce Harper, Harry Hard-on crap where you don't want to run out balls to first base,
Yeah, I
but
know.
you want to
Yeah, I
stretch.
know.
You want to stretch singles into doubles when the guy's already got the ball in his hand and you're rounding
It's
first.
a base hit up the middle, and you're trying to make a double out of
And
it.
then all the Bryce Harper cheerleaders will be like, he's just being aggressive. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's
What,
just
you're-
being aggressive, but he's
Bryce-
also trying to conserve his body.
Bryce picked us. You can't have it both ways. You either want to run out ground balls or you don't want to do Harry Hard on trying to get to second base on balls that there's no reason to do it. Better yet, steal a base.
He
Get
runs
to
out
first
a lot.
and
Now,
steal a base.
The thing with Trey Turner is I would love to see Trey Turner get thrown out at second, trying to stretch a single into a double, because that's part of the reason we need him up there.
You mean you would like to see that aggressiveness?
Absolutely.
do not.
I don't want to see him thrown out.
I got Bryce Harper on deck.
I don't need that. I got Bryce Harper. I got Kyle Schwarber behind him. I got Alec Boehm.
Well, here's the argument then, because we want to see the speed of Trey Turner. Kyle Schwarber had a great on-base percentage last year. If you want someone just on base for Bryce Harper,
Then steal second.
But you don't
no,
even
I-
have to steal second.
Don't try to stretch singles into doubles, which the Phillies do as much as anybody, and they do it stupidly.
I don't even need to
got
see
Over
them
and
to
over.
swipe bags. I need to see if Bryce Harper hits a ball to the right side that Trey Turner can get to third. If a ball goes into the gap, Trey Turner scores. Whereas that was one of the problems with Kyle Schwarber in the leadoff spot. And when Trey Turner was batting behind him, if Turner would hit a ball that he could stretch into a double, right? We're talking about the aggressive base running where not everybody could stretch this ball into the gap that doesn't get to the fence into 2 bases. If Schwarber's on first base and Trey Turner's batting behind him, Trey Turner's stuck at first.
yeah, I got you. But the same conversation about first to third for Trey Turner or first to home on a ball in the gap for Trey Turner, well, it could turn a single that wouldn't have scored him into one that does, because Kyle Schwarber would have been standing on first, but Trey Turner can be aggressive and stretch it into a double. I think he's the one guy in this lineup, and I'm saying for the first month or two of the season, if it's a continuous thing where he's getting gunned left and right, making bad decisions, trying to use his wheels too much, we'll have that conversation. But he's a guy that should have carte blanche to make whatever base running decision that he thinks to the aggressive side, because that's part of the huge reason people argued for him to be in that spot.
Now, I got to ask you guys something. As you listen to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, BZ Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. We have not found out who the Game 2 starter is yet for the Nationals, correct? I know Mackenzie Gore is going today. I see no probables.
I see no problem
for the Nationals. We don't know how aggressive they are going to be with this leadoff spot thing, like the Turner Schwarber. Is Turner the leadoff hitter against left-handed pitching? And that's why they were able to announce it early, because we know that Mackenzie Gore's left-handed?
I've been told, and I think John Clark's reporting the other day alluded to it, that he's planning on doing the Waffle House. Yeah, we'll go back, and we'll use this guy at leadoff one day. We'll use this guy at leadoff one day. That they're going to maneuver around with this thing. It'll drive me nuts, and I don't like the plan.
So if the Game 2 star is a right-handed pitcher, you're expecting Schwarber to see
I'm expecting Saturday. Right now, if it's a right-handed starter, I'm expecting Kyle Schwarber to lead off Saturday afternoon.
And
I'll
told
give
you,
him a nice ovation.
On the bitching complaint guidelines, I will not like that. I don't want this.
Let's see.
I'm not asking for
Let's see. You lecture. You told us over and over again. Got to unleash Turner. Got to see what he can do in the leadoff spot. We're taking away a big aspect of our game by not letting Turner and Harper be out there running because of Kyle batting leadoff. There are benefits to it, but so don't tell me in Game 2 you're going away from.
And here's the other thing. That doesn't just mean it's not just those two. Like if right now it's Turner, Harper, Bohm, Schwarber, right? That's 1 through 4 today. If Schwarber's batting leadoff, what does that mean? Does that mean Turner 2, Harper 3,
yeah, they go
Bohm
back to the
4?
Yeah, they just flip
they
it.
Go back to the old way.
So my
because you know why. You know why. You know the answer. Walk it through in your head. Because Bryce, well, you know I'm a 3-hole hitter.
Oh.
He answered 3 different times. He has to answer. Well, you know I'm a 3-hole hitter.
But
I'm open to anything.
I don't think.
No,
that's
you're
why.
not. It's why I know I'm a 3-hole hitter. No, you know what? You're a hitter. You're a great hitter.
Now,
and baseball has evolved. It has evolved. You don't have to be a 3-hole hitter. Nothing is the traditional as it's always been.
No, I got you, but I don't think that's why. I think the big argument is handedness. And they don't want 2 lefties at the top of the lineup together.
That could very well be. That could very well be.
I don't think it's Bryce Harper has to bat.
Bryce
3.
Harper is the one I'm quoting.
No, I got you, but I don't think that's the reasoning. I don't think they're switching the entire lineup so Bryce Harper can bat 3rd.
I think that in the last 2 years, and it has actually been spoken to, Bryce Harper wanted to bat 3rd, so they didn't touch him there.
Right, and now they're doing something different. And
but for how long, though? That's what we're asking.
Well, I don't like this 50-50, because here's the deal. I mean, Connor, you're a ball player. You know mentalities.
I got you.
When you're a leadoff hitter, your approach is so much
different
than when you're a 2-hitter, 3-hitter, 4-hitter, 5-hitter. And don't give me this crap of you only lead off the game once. Like, no, there is a mindset of depending on where you're at in the order. You see certain pitches differently. Everything's different depending on where you're at in the order. And if Trey Turner, like one of the Corey Seidman nuggets that I read that I didn't bring up on the air was, obviously Kyle Schwarber being the leadoff spot, his on-base percentage last year was great, right? And Turner's was much lower. I think like almost 60 points lower.
Okay.
Well, if he's batting leadoff, maybe his approach is different.
I'm sure it will be.
But you're going to have one approach as the leadoff guy. You're going to have another approach as the 2-hole guy. You're going to have another approach as the 5-hole guy. Like, I don't like this.
Now, it's not that different, all right? It's not like this drastic change in approach. It's not. It might be slightly different that you want to see more pitches if you're leading off, but it's not like completely mind-bendingly different.
If you, again, I don't know how big a fan of you are of MLB Network. They had the comments from Dave Dombrowski, and the ex-players on the panel ripped them. The idea that batting orders don't matter. Yeah, it really is. It's overinflated what people think about it. They completely ripped him for that said, that's absurd. They went, that is absolutely absurd.
I got you.
What do we got on the text line?
Okay, hang on, let me pull it up. Because we have a lot of people still being positive about the Phillies. Jake from Royersford says, I'm so pumped for this season. Pitching staff is second to none. Dodgers are pretty good. I think Harper is going to have his best season as a Philly. All it takes to win it all is to get hot at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, look, honestly, that is a big part of it.
It is. You got to get hot at the right time. Right?
Now, yeah, the Dodgers' rotation's really good, too. So we don't have to say second to none, but we can say, as John predicted yesterday, or guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Top 3 rotation, barring
guaranteed.
Injury, obviously, in Major League Baseball.
There it is. By the way, I had someone say, yeah, you said that right when we know Ranger Suarez is already injured, so you have a way out. No. I said that already knowing Ranger's going to miss a little time to start the year.
Yeah, no, by the way,
That's
Ranger
not an
Suarez
excuse.
might not be in everybody's long-term plans.
I don't think he will
When
be.
Painter comes up, Suarez could be in the pen.
If they would have extended him last year and not extended Christopher Sanchez.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, coming up next, we have today's headlines with Connor Thomas. We'll sneak in a couple of text messages as well. And then at 8:25, we're going to do our big 2025 MLB season predictions, where we pick division winners, win total for the Phillies. We put it all on record coming up at 8:25. Then at 8:40, we're going to do season prop bets and have some fun with that, trying to make some money. It's Kincade and Salciunas on opening day 2025 here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
We want to hear from you.
opening day, holiday. My favorite day of the year. It really is. We barely slept last night. We had knockout. We'll give you the results coming up here.
The reason we
in a
barely
second.
slept.
Yeah.
When the Price is Right went off this morning, I jumped out.
Yeah.
It was way too early.
Yeah, way too early after a late night last night.
But it was a great
all
night.
good,
Knockout
man.
was great last night. We'll get an update coming up soon.
But it's like today's just a joyous
It's a
day.
beautiful day.
And today's a multi-screen day for me because I'll watch other games.
General Hospital's done at 4, so you don't have to miss anything.
You can't handle a baseball game while watching another baseball
Dude,
game.
I'm not watching another game besides the Phillies.
It's the easiest sport to be able to watch.
You just glance at another.
Yeah, it's the easiest.
Hell
one.
no. I'm watching the Phillies.
Yes, the Phillies will be on the big screen. I will probably find whatever game is available on any streaming service on my laptop. Multi-screen.
Nah, bro. I'm zoned in on just the Fightins.
It's really not that hard.
It isn't that hard. It's a baseball game.
You hear the crack
I'm
of the
stupid.
You hear the crack of the bat. You look up. You look down.
I'll get lost in one of the games.
That's simple, man. And if you're watching the Phillies game and then you look down, you see that they scored a run. You hit a quick 10, 20-second rewind. You find out what happened. It's the easiest sport to watch two of.
Nah, bro. I'm not rewinding to see what happened in the Phillies' first game of the year.
I'm not saying no. If I miss the other screen, the Phillies, I'm locked in on.
Every game, the YouTube TV is set to record the Phillies, and I never worry about being there for first pitch because I love being able to fast forward through commercials.
Yeah.
So I may sit down and I just make sure I try not to live on the phone, so I just make sure that I don't look at the phone, see who scored, anything like that, so I can catch up.
There you go. Here's one that you lock in on, or not lock in on. You have on the other screen. Pirates Marlins, Skeens versus Alcantara to start the season.
That's a nice one.
How you not
is that in Pittsburgh or is that in
Miami? 4:10.
You're watching a Marlins game on opening day.
Are you
baseball.
Are you kidding me?
Skeens versus Alcantara. I don't care.
You don't want to
You
see
guys are
They
crazy.
can win
on this.
40 games.
I gotta tell
I'm watching two studs,
Paul
dude.
Skeens? Paul Skeens, I would watch Paul Skeens pitch in my backyard.
Dude, we used to watch the Phillies every fifth day when Nola was pitching before anybody else came up.
Paul Skeens is that much.
That's what. But these guys are better.
Paul Skeens is absolutely must-see
I'm
TV.
disappointed
Guess what?
in you.
I'll
I
see
thought,
him
I
on-
thought you were a seaman.
I'll see him if he throws. I like the Phillies. I'll see him when he throws on Phillies off days, and I'll see him when he throws against the Phillies.
Wow.
This is my baseball team. Screw the Marlins and the Pirates. That's crazy. to me.
Wow. So you're a
fake
Phillies
seam
fan, not a baseball fan.
Yeah, he
I
is.
mean, I like baseball, but I am Phillies by far.
No,
and
I
away
got
first.
you.
Same.
We're all Phillies fans, but you're making it seem like it's quantum physics to,
I think
to
this
glance
is-
away from a baseball
to
game.
watch 100-mile-an-hour
Crazy.
fastballs from Skeens and Alcantara
Man.
for 6+
I think
innings.
the average person would call you guys insane.
Well, I'm
for
not
that.
the average baseball fan. I've already told you that, but I
Hey,
thought you were.
The only people who would say we
disappointed.
were insane are like, teenagers or almost adults going to jumpy houses.
Time now for today's headlines with Phillies fan Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with Connor
Off to us
Thomas.
by who?
Lundy Law. So
You might
not
need to
being
call
a,
him.
Not being a Phillies fan is a dirty thing. Lundy Law is not. They're the best. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name, Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers, visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. We're going to start with this because John and I care about it. And Andrew, maybe a fake Eagles fan? We'll see. The Eagles have cut ties with their pep band. You know them. It's the they play the fight song. The guy with the beard, and then there's the guy
They're
with the other beard.
They
And the
created
third guy with the beard.
They created Fly Eagles Fly. Fly Eagles Fly was manipulated by them into the song we all sing today. And I hate this move. I don't understand why it's going on. And those guys freaking rock.
I will say this.
It's stupid.
It's bad vibes.
Why are they? It's bad vibes. It is.
I feel bad because it's four of them, right? It's a
Yes, that's true.
four-man string band. Like, I feel bad for them. Does this have anything to do with the Eagles for me? No, it doesn't. But I feel bad for those guys. Like, that's a fun gig. Like, and you're right. They are historic.
I
And
mean,
to just kick them aside for what? Like, that's what I don't get.
we would not have Fly Eagles Fly without them. The song. It was, they literally manipulated the words to the old fight song
Right.
that I remember as a kid
Right.
to being that. This sucks. And the Eagles should correct course on this.
I just don't know why they're doing it.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't.
No, you know
Zach
why?
Bond's got to get paid somehow.
No. I'm going to tell you right now. Here's my guess. Julian Laurie's a lot more involved.
Yeah.
Okay? And for some reason, the Eagles feel that they need an in-house DJ at games. Which, did you see that they have an in-house DJ now?
Yeah, but they don't do like they do.
They do what? I'm telling you, I bet you, it's that the minute I saw in-house DJ, I'm like, okay, here we go.
I know, but the
Now they're trying
pep
to-
band plays before the game, and maybe
when they
once?
score.
No,
When they score.
No, they play
They play before the game
through
on
the
the field,
system.
but it's them
They don't play the
Nah, they just more meander
strings.
around and play
Yeah,
it
that's what I'm
outside.
saying.
So what's the point of?
and they represent the organization out in the community.
Yeah, no, I get. Yeah.
And they're not I mean, seriously, I've heard how much they're paid too. This is
Like,
dumb.
I'm not as disappointed as you guys. I feel bad for the four guys because that was a cool gig that they had, and it's just
Fly
gone.
Eagles Fly doesn't exist without them.
Yeah, I'm disappointed.
This is stupid
Now-
on the Eagles' part.
Speaking of stupid, I'm disappointed in the NFL, even though this is nothing new. We have a new unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, a new thing you can't do. Did you guys see this story?
Yes,
No,
I did
what is
see
it?
it.
So you can't do violent acts, which would be like the fake firing of a gun with your fingers.
You
or
mean
something
like
that.
Josh Sweat with the
Jalen
Jalen's
Hunt.
on.
Yeah.
With the bow and arrow?
Oh, this is worse. You can't do the nose wipe first down celebration anymore.
What?
That is now considered a violent act by the NFL and will be a 15-yard penalty.
So here's
A
why.
violent act?
Do you know the reasoning of the nose?
I don't.
Okay. The nose wipe
Okay.
is, I believe it's, don't quote me, guys. I believe it's Crips related, where if they see somebody they don't trust, they wipe their nose and like point to the person they don't trust.
Okay.
And so
So do you think in a football game that's
no,
what it means?
Absolutely not. What the NFL is trying to do is like, hey, this could be some sort of association with gangs. We're going to get rid of it.
Is there a local
my
beat
God.
writer that brought up this angle? I'm not sure.
This is just like NFL. We have
He'll
so
be
many.
the first one to do it.
We have so many other things that we can focus on in this sport. And
Yeah, I know. It's
we're
stupid.
getting
No,
rid of
it's
the
a
nose
stupid
wipe
rule. Like, I just
celebration.
want to make it clear. It's a stupid rule. I'm just telling you, like, that's what the nose. It's
No,
not
I
like, oh,
appreciate the insight.
my nose is running. It's like, it is
No,
a
it
gang
is.
related
No, it
thing.
is. It is.
But that's harmless.
But that's not
That's
what
your
it
15 yards for a nose
Yeah.
wipe.
So great job, NFL, for cutting down on the violence.
By the way,
in
did you see the
sport.
other update with the kickoff? Why don't you just give teams 6 points nowadays?
Oh, now they're going to go to the 35?
Touchback is now at the 35-yard line. That's one pass. In today's NFL, you're at field goal range.
That really is dumb. That really is dumb.
And I get
too.
it. The kickoff ended up playing in their favor. Less injuries, more returns, all that kind of stuff last year. A 35-yard line. That's if you kick it out of bounds, you get it to the 40. That's a 5-yard difference.
That's a joke. That's real
That's
joke.
too much, man. Like the 30 was too much, in my opinion. With the 35, why don't you just say, you know what? Why don't you elect to kick a field goal? It's right there. That's midfield.
It's unbelievable.
I'm still going to watch every single snap.
Yes,
All
we
right,
are.
Coming up next, busy 9 o'clock hour today.
And
so
we'll get to knockout, I guess, at some point.
Yeah.
We will here.
Connor didn't win. Rejoice.
Connor couldn't read. Connor could not
Oh,
read.
don't even start.
Connor made excuses.
No,
Connor
I'm going to start.
made
Start.
excuses.
See, we'll get into this when we get time.
Busy 9 o'clock hour. So what we're going to do is our preseason, our MLB 2025 season predictions, division winners, award winners, you name it. We do that next. We'll put it in the safe. We'll lock it up, and we'll open it back up before the start of the playoffs. But we make our big predictions next. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Wheels up in Washington. I'm Connor Thomas, and it's opening day for the 2025 MLB season. The long wait for that is over, and the Phillies open up the season down in Washington against the Nationals today. First pitch is at 4:05 p.m., and Zach Wheeler will be on the hill for the Fightins. Mackenzie Gore takes the mound for the Nationals. Trey Turner is going to get the first at-bat of the year for the Phils in the leadoff spot, so a little bit of a change there. We'll see how much they go to that this season. Jason Stark joined the best show ever yesterday, and he talked about the season and why he's grown even more bullish on the Phillies now the spring training's over.
I think the outlook is bright. I'm actually more bullish on the Phillies' chances after spring training than I was going into spring training.
Hope springs eternal for all teams and all fan bases on opening day, but the Phillies have a little bit more entitlement to that hope than most teams. So we'll see what the season holds. The Sixers fell to the Wizards 119-114 last night. They're off until Saturday. The Flyers take on the Canadiens tonight at 7 p.m. That game live here on The Fanatic. Kevin Nagandi will join us coming up at 9:10. Jeff Francoeur will join us at 9:25. This update is brought to you by the Delaware County EDSI. Don't miss the Spring Jobs Fair in Delaware County Thursday, March 27th from 11 to 2 at the Springfield YMCA. More info at pacareerlinkdelco.org or on their Facebook page. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philadelphia Union Soccer.
Cleared away by Nash.
opening day. Happy opening day, Philadelphia. We'll get back to our text messages in a little bit before we get to our busy 9 o'clock hour, where we have Kevin Nagandi, got our man Michael Westwood, we got Jeff Francoeur, we got John Brazier. So very, very busy 9 o'clock hour ahead, including the Key 3. So we'll get to all of it. But let's give our official predictions on the MLB season. We'll go divisions.
Yep.
We'll give some award winners. You name it. We'll do it all now. So I'm just, for the sake of the conversation, I do have the FanDuel app up to just give you the odds on the divisions. So let's start with the AL East. I believe the Boston Red Sox will be the winners of the division. I think the Garrett Cole injury is a big one for the Yankees.
Red Sox also.
Connor?
And a step back for the Orioles.
I am taking the Baltimore Orioles. I think they take a step forward.
So the Red Sox, the Yankees have the best odds, by the way, at plus 150 in that division. The Red Sox are plus 260. The Orioles are plus 300. So you and I, Johnny, go with the Sox, and Connor goes with the O's, the very young, exciting O's. The exciting whites of the O's,
and the,
just like the Philadelphia.
The depleted pitching of the O's.
The American League Central. Now, this is an interesting one. You got the Twins as the favorite at plus 210. The Tigers, who had a very fun season last year, at plus 230. The Guardians at plus 290. The Royals at plus 310. And then the White Sox.
That's a great division. And it's part of the reason why the Tigers were so terrible.
Plus 21,000, by the way, not 2,100.
Cleveland Rocks.
21,000. So that's my initial pick.
Is that where you're going to?
Cleveland's pitching staff. I don't trust the Twins. I never do. The Twins are always supposed to win the division, and they never do.
Cleveland Rocks.
But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with the Royals.
Wow, that's bold.
Plus 310.
That's bold.
They have a very good
playoff team, maybe. Wow,
I know. It's a bold. It's a bold
and
choice.
Beautiful. That is.
Their rotation is sneaky good. Their lineup is obviously very, very good. And with Bobby Witt Jr., just another year in Major League Baseball. And they acquired some players during the offseason that I thought were some sneaky signings for them. So I'm going to go with the Kansas City Royals. It's a bit of a stretch. But let's face it, they have been a successful team, Connor, in our lifetime. Like, the Salvador Perez is still there, which is insane, and he's going to probably hit 30 more bombs this year.
Yeah, won a World Series, went to multiple in that stretch there.
Yeah, and despite their peaks and valleys, but they do get back. Guardians are my initial pick, but I'm going to go with the Royals.
I'm going
officially.
Guardians.
I'm going Royals as well. I think
you both.
Their pitching staff is sneaky.
Yeah.
Like, they were really good last year. They didn't get a lot of love. I think as we get to AL MVP predictions, you may be getting a guy on that team for me.
All right.
Now, the one thing I'm worried about with my Royals prediction, our Royals prediction, there was no way Seth Lugo should have had as good of a season as he had last year.
Nah.
Same with Michael Wacha. There is the concern of the back down to earth season.
Sure.
So that's my, Guardians, I'm telling you, is my, if I'm on a fence, about a fence, but I'm pushing myself over to the side of the Royals.
We're doing a lot on the Guardians here.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, man, it's official prediction time, Johnny.
It is.
Come on, man. What, you tired of baseball talk already?
No, I mean, National League is what we're talking about. I mean, these are...
AL West, Stros the favorite, plus 175. Rangers, plus 185. Mariners, 210.
Rangers.
Angels, 1,900. A's, 2,600. I agree with you with the Texas Rangers. I don't know how this Altuve left field thing is going to work out for Houston. He's looked horrible this spring.
I'll go Rangers. Are we going to have a trifecta?
As much as I like the Sacramento A's, I got to go with the Rangers.
Plus,
they're just the Athletics.
Yeah, they're just the Athletics, even on the betting
apps. There's not a lot. They have no city attached.
Whatever the hell they are.
There you go.
They're going to be in last.
DeGrom's back. As long as he can stay healthy, I mean, that's a huge boost for them. Yeah.
That'll happen.
Yeah, also, well, we'll see.
Joel Embiid thinks he's injured too much.
Yeah. Oh, man. NL East, we'll say for last. NL Central, Cubs, Brewers, Reds, Pirates, Cardinals. The Cubs, the favorite at plus 115. Brewers second, Reds third, Pirates fourth, Cardinals fifth. This is the I hate division. I hate every team in this division.
You hate them all?
Why?
I am excited to watch the Reds play. They're not going to win the division. I can't wait to watch Paul Skeens play. I'm not going to pay attention the other 4 days of the week. The Cardinals are just the Cardinals. I hate, I don't like Craig Counsell. But I think the Cubs are just the best team in that division.
The Cubs
so
are the best team. Cubs are going to have the bounce back year.
I'm taking the Cubs as well, even though they're 0-2 already.
Yeah, it's because opening day, but they've already had it.
They win that division with 85 games, 85 wins. That division's not.
I think they can go higher than that.
I'll go more than that.
Like 87, 88.
Do we have to waste our time with the NL West?
Diamondbacks. No, it's the Dodgers. Yeah. Everyone knows it's the Dodgers.
All right, lastly, the NL East. Braves the favorite, plus 120. Phil's at 200, Mets 220, and then the Nationals and Marlins well behind. I'm going with the Fightins.
What are you saying number was?
92 wins.
You say 92. I'll go Phillies. I'll go 94. And the Braves will the Mets will not win 90.
I'm going with the Phillies, and I'm splitting the difference. 93 wins.
Okay.
All right, so 92,
So we're 92, 93, 94.
And a lot of it is because of the Braves beginning part of the season missing their MVP and their starting pitcher. Remember last year I picked the Braves to win the division, and then Spencer Strider got hurt in his second start?
It was
first start. He got hurt early.
It was
last year, and that immediately everybody changed their prediction because they lost their guy. They're missing their guy for the first month of the season, and I know he's looked good in his spring training starts, but we'll see how he looks when he's first back out in the mound.
And we know when he comes here, he can throw meatballs.
Yes, and they're going to be careful with him.
Sure.
So he's not going 8. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to probably have an innings limit or an innings restriction, or they'll keep a very close eye on it. And that plays a factor. Now, they do have Chris Sale, who's still a stud. But I will say this. You mentioned DeGrom and how he's injury prone. So is Sale. Last year, good for him. He stayed healthy, and he won Cy Young. But that's something to keep an eye on.
Okay.
Because Chris Sale is normally a guy that gets banged up.
I think Chris Sale will have a step-back season.
All right. Awards. Your favorite in the American League, and I'm guessing this is where Connor's going, is Bobby Witt Jr. Plus 280. It's not even that great of odds. Shohei Ohtani's plus 145, by the way, and he's my pick because he's doing both. How can you, until Shohei Ohtani is not good at either thing that he does, how can he not win MVP? He won it last year without pitching.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to win it.
He should win it.
If you are a exceptional pitcher and hitting 40 to 50 bombs, how do you not win MVP?
That's good.
So Ohtani's my pick in the National League. If it's not Ohtani, is there anybody that comes to your mind that you would think could win it?
Soto, probably.
He's got the second best odds.
See, not for me at all. I don't think that's going to. I think it's going to be a bumpy ride for Juan Soto this year.
Okay.
I think he'll put up numbers, but I think he'll go over stretches where he's going to go, man, San Diego was a low-pressure, relaxing place to work. I'm going to tell you.
well with the Yankees, though.
I'm going to tell you that I believe that we could see Bryce Harper in the mix.
He is fifth.
In the mix.
In terms of the conversation,
as far as
fifth.
top of the conversation, I think Bryce Harper could be there.
Plus 14. Look, his thing is as long as he stays healthy. I mean, the one year he really stayed healthy, he won MVP, right?
Very good.
And then in the American League, Bobby Witt Jr. is your favorite at plus 280, followed by Aaron Judge at plus 300. And then it drops to 850 for Gunnar Henderson.
See, I didn't think his odds were that high. I thought I was saying something that was, cool. I'd go Henderson.
You're going to go Gunnar Henderson?
Yep.
Is that right?
And now that I learned those odds, I'm going to put a little money on it. Like $5 on it.
I will give you
my Bet Parks ad.
my value bet if I were to be one of those guys. Jose Ramirez with the Guardians.
Wow, okay.
Dude, he went.
He's a hell of a player.
He hit 39 home runs, drove in 118 RBI last year, batted 279, and finished 5th in MVP voting. He's a stud. I love Jose Ramirez, which is part of the reason why I think the Guardians are the best bet to win that division, but I'm going value, baby.
I'll go Bobby Witt. And I've got Ohtani in the NL as well.
Bobby Witt Jr., right?
Yes.
You're not voting on his dad.
No, he doesn't play anymore.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. Coming up next, we'll get to our text messages before our busy 9 o'clock hour. And also, I have Phillies-specific prop bets. So make sure you put all these division winners and stuff lock and key. And then we'll give you the prop bets for the Phillies. Phillies-specific. We'll go through those coming up next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli.
I can't say that this team is not good, but you know what I feel about
It's 97.5 The Fanatic. So before we get back to our text, we kind of ran out of time last segment. Connor would like to do the Cy Young Award win.
Yeah, dude, we have one in the city.
Yeah.
Like, we got to tell the people Zach Wheeler is going to be your NL Cy Young winner this year.
He won't.
He won't be?
Why do you say he won't be?
Paul Skeens is going to win.
Oh, stop it.
I don't believe that necessarily, no.
I totally believe it.
Okay.
Until somebody can hit him. Look, Zach Wheeler has been robbed in this city. That Corbin Burns Cy Young, when he won it with the Brewers, was criminal. I know his numbers were great and all, but he averaged like 5 innings an outing. Zach Wheeler's numbers were just a tick behind Burns's, and he was pitching 7-8 innings a night. And to be a Cy Young, you got to be the workhorse, too. You can't just be like a 5-inning guy, and that's what Corbin Burns was. So Zach Wheeler should have won that year. But, dude, I don't know who's going to touch Paul Skeens yet.
I mean, he hasn't just gone out and thrown no-hitters. And also, when you're talking about workhorse, can you guarantee that guy's going to be a workhorse? Because I can.
Guarantee he's going to be healthy?
Well, I
Paul
can't.
Skeens?
No, I can't guarantee.
I'm going to tell you right
anybody's
now,
gonna
I
stay
expect Paul Skeens at some point this year to end up.
That would be horrible for baseball.
I think baseball would survive.
Yeah, it'd be bad though.
No,
you
we
love
don't
this
want
guy.
it.
Yes, I love watching talent
him too, but I think I need to see a little.
He's throwing half a season. Like, I like Paul Skeens. He's a very talented pitcher. He's going to be very good. But Zach Wheeler's been doing this for, what, 8 years now?
All right. Zach Wheeler is second on the odds at plus 600. Paul Skeens is numero uno at plus 200. I would not bet Blake Snell. I would not bet Yamamoto. Alcantara I'd keep an eye on. But it depends on how he's bouncing back from his injury.
And it's also going to be tough when he gets traded, because he will get traded.
Yeah, he's not
affects
him.
him.
Marlins. In American League, Scooble's your number one at plus 350. Crochet right behind him at plus 360. Remember, he was a Phillies trade candidate at one point. He's now a member of the Red Sox. This one's a little tougher in the American League.
What's that?
Like, Scooble's really good, but am I ready to start putting money down for him to win Cy Young?
There's more to watch about him being a Cy Young than there is from Paul Skeens. You have more to work off of.
Yeah, a little bit more of a track record there.
You have more of a track record, and he's been spectacular.
I'm going with a depth pick. I'm going to the easiest division on the American League side. I think it's going to be Logan Gilbert.
Really? That's an interesting pick.
I look at the Central and I look at the East, and I say there are good teams in those divisions. And I look at the AL West, and I'm like, man, there are not that many good baseball teams out there.
And you get that advantage of playing those at such an.
And he's plus 1,100, by the way.
That's not a bad pick.
He's a sneaky, really good pitcher.
That's a good one.
I'm going to go with Crochet because he pitched really well last year on a very bad team. Now he's pitching with actual lineup behind him and an actual team behind him. I'll go with Crochet with the Sox. Plus, I have them winning the division, so I need that to happen. Johnny, you have a pick?
I've been given it 2 seconds of thought.
Okay.
But I listened to both of you on that.
Right. Sounds good.
We'll learn something there.
All right, so the Phillies. I have some Phillies prop. Give us a text message as I pull this up, just because I don't want to go away from the text line. So we've got a busy 9 o'clock hour. By the way, no Kevin Nagandi today. He's a little busy.
Attorney stuff.
A little busy. So, it's a big day. It's opening
All right,
day.
so we have a bit of a negative text. It's the only real one we've gotten so far. Matt from Wilmington, Delaware says, too much homerism from the beginning. The Phils have progressively gotten less far in the playoffs the last 3 years. The team is on the downside. Lose one of your starters for any period combined with your lack of hitting spells doom.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Like, again, I can't worry about the playoffs drops on March 27th.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to predict them.
And I would like to...
Because the Phillies got better every year.
Yeah. Record-wise, they got better last year.
Right.
And I would like to assume that come deadline time, they'll acquire another top-end reliever guy.
I'm hoping.
And if there's something wrong with center field, because we have a lot of information, but maybe not enough, even though I think I do, I would imagine that there's enough information for them at this point to say, okay, we need to get a different center fielder. Now, it's not going to be Juan Soto, but it could be somebody that you could plug in right away into your lineup.
I don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how that shakes up.
I don't know how that shakes up.
But I can't go into a season like that. It's sad.
No, I don't understand. I don't understand where people are coming from. I honestly don't.
All right. Kyle Schwarber's home run total this season. Over-under is set at just 35.5. Yeah, I think you got to go over, right?
Yeah, I'd go over on that. Not by much.
I think I'd go over. Yeah, but again, I wouldn't go. Yeah, I wouldn't go over by much.
Well, you're not asking to do much. His tenure at the Phillies, 46, 47, and 38 was the low last year. I think you got to go the over 35.5 for sure.
He's also been really healthy.
He has been.
And that's something you wonder about.
Harper's is 27.5. The under, by the way, is the betting favorite for Bryce Harper. That's the health thing that I get concerned about.
What was it, 27.5?
27.5.
Hammer the over, hammer it.
If he stays healthy, he goes over.
I'd go over, even if he misses some time. I'd go over that.
Okay. Trey Turner, just 19.5 in his tenure with the Phillies, 26 and 21. I don't think he cuts down on hitting the baseball.
Well, if he bats leadoff more, different approach, do you have less opportunities? He'll get more at bats, but does he try and work counts more? That's why I think Schwarber's number's down, because he's going to get less at bats if he bats cleanup.
A perennial 20 home run guy.
I gotcha.
20-20-20
I'm not saying
club.
it can't be done. I'm saying why the number's where it is.
I understand. I'd take the over.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over for Trey Turner. Hitting seed.
I think Trey Turner's going to have a big year.
That's good. Now here's give you a couple of the fun ones they have on FanDuel here. The Phillies to score at least one run in every regular season game before the All-Star break. So that means they don't get shut out at all before the All-Star break.
No chance.
Plus 6,000. The Phillies to score a run in every regular season game. That's not going to happen. The Phillies to record at least 2 hits in every regular season game.
Yeah, I'd bet that one. I'd be willing to bet that one.
I don't think so.
It's minus 170. The favorite. At least 2 hits in every single regular season game.
I bet that one.
They have those weird games.
One hitters are real, are very rare.
I know, but there's a lot of really good arms in the National League. There's some top-level arms in division. Like, if they play Strider in August and he's going really, really good, like, that just feels too risky. That feels like a wild bet.
Okay.
All right, let me ask you this one. Harper to hit 30-plus regular season home runs and Turner to record 30-plus stolen bases.
Yes. No. I can't trust that Rob Thompson's going to be a man of his word.
Plus 450 to do that.
No, I'd put something small on that. You tell me $10, I'd do that. I'd feel good with that one.
Yeah, I don't know if Turner's going to run that much. Like, I think he'll be in the mid-20s again. I wouldn't take that bet.
If they're telling me they're afraid to run Trey Turner, I'm going to be so pissed off.
Yeah.
It's just...
They better not.
For God's sake.
They better. Unless it's they don't want to open up the bag for Harper to just get walked. Because that is... If it's the 6th or 7th inning...
You tell me that... Well,
now it's 2 on. Now it's 2 on for Bohm.
People aren't doing that early on.
Yeah, exactly. All right, coming up next, we'll check our text line. So Kevin Agandi not joining us today as he was originally scheduled. That was on me. So we got a busy still 9 o'clock hour. Michael Westwood. We got Frenchie. Can't wait to talk to Jeff Francoeur coming up to preview the season at 9:25. Our man Johnny Brazier joins us at 9:40. But coming up next, we'll really check that text line heavy. How long are you willing to hold your complaints? And what should be some of the complaint guidelines, the bitch and complain guidelines? There are things you can complain about early on in the season, but we should not go over the top. What are those things that we should be allowed to complain about? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phils get going. I'm Connor Thomas, and it's opening day for the 2025 MLB season, including your Philadelphia Phillies. So the long wait is over. The Phils will open up the season in Washington. 4:05 p.m. the time for first pitch with Zach Wheeler facing off against Mackenzie Gore. Trey Turner will be on the leadoff spot for the Titans. We'll see how many times they go to that this year. Jason Stark joined the best show ever yesterday, and he talked about getting more confident in the Philadelphia Phillies as spring training went along.
I think the outlook is bright. I'm actually more bullish on the Phillies' chances after spring training than I was going into spring training.
A lot of faith from the national media on the Philadelphia Phillies, so hope springing eternal. That's something that should be happening in Philadelphia today and through the summer. The Sixers fell to the Wizards 119-114 last night. They're off till Saturday. Flyers take on the Canadiens tonight at 7 p.m. That game can be heard live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll talk to Jeff Francoeur coming up at 9:25. This update's brought to you by Rapid Radios. Their instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
97.5 The Fanatic. Any opening day memories that come to your mind, Johnny, before we get back to our text messages?
I remember, I think it was 93, the Magic season of 93.
Yeah.
Some buddies and I got tickets, a partial plan,
Yeah.
and we're right over the outfield fence where they used to put the big team logos at the vet.
Yeah.
And I believe that is also the year that they brought back the pinstripes.
Okay.
So they brought that
that's
back.
Awesome, yeah.
They switched the jerseys.
Good vibes. In
Because,
there.
and
They go to
so
the
it was a
World
very
Series that
good,
year.
very good feeling about that. I like it much better too. I don't like the powder blues.
Connor, any opening day memories that come to mind?
Yeah, I used to, before I worked here, I'd go to every opening day. I'd take the day off of work and I'd make sure I was there. And just a reminder to people of what the weather can be this time of year. I don't remember the game or the year, but I remember getting a beer, and it was so cold that when I cracked it open, it was frozen inside, and it kept bubbling out. So I had to constantly just like sip the beer, or it would bubble over. It was that cold sitting on the first base line at the bank. So not always the warmest, but always fun.
I was supposed to go to the final home opener at the vet,
Okay.
and I came down with an illness.
Is that the one when the Catholic League kids all got in the fight? The Bonner kids got in the fight with the St. Joe's Prep kids?
Good. I remember that fight. I don't remember what
I thought it was.
specific
I'm not
day.
sure if it was Bonner or St. Joe's Prep, but I remember that big fight making big news.
All I remember is I was supposed to go, and then I got sick, and so I couldn't go, and it was heartbreaking to me because it was the final home opener at the vet. But it was good that I didn't go because it ended up being like this gross, rainy, to Connor's point, freezing cold day. And they played the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Pirates brought back the old jerseys. Or the weird hats.
Okay.
With like the big
Oh, yeah,
dot
yeah,
on
yeah.
the
The
top.
pillbox
Oh, I
hat.
hate those.
Yeah. And
Hated those.
The Pirates won 9-1 that day. And I would have sat through misery with like a fever and stuff watching that game just because I wanted to go to the final home opener, but my parents did not let me. It was probably for the best.
I can't stand. I could stand those hats.
Yeah, they were ugly. They were.
I got to
they
tell
were
you
hideous.
too, and I know you guys enjoyed the ones I brought back for you. The rope hats. Come on, the rope hats. I've seen enough of the rope hats right now.
You said to me just 2 weeks ago you were glad the rope hat was back.
I said no. I didn't.
Now
I
you're
told
seeing
you-
Austin Jones
No,
is there. You
I
said you're a
to-
pro row.
No, I said to you that that's from my childhood.
Yeah, and you were happy about it.
No, I don't wear hats. I don't do anything with that. Now they're putting rope on everything.
I know.
I like the rope hat.
The Super Bowl championship hat that you got me is the only rope hat I wear.
That's the only.
I mean,
rope hat.
I don't get the point of it.
Yeah, it's just cool.
No, I
little
said that
piece
was
of
just
flair.
a memory, a good feeling of it brings me back. I don't wear hats for one thing, for the most part.
That's true.
Except I've been a pool or
But what's the
occasionally
point
golfing.
of the rope other than just appearance?
It's just appearance.
Can I cut the rope off or will it ruin the hat?
No, ruin the hat.
I
Don't
don't
do it. It'll ruin.
I
the
know.
hat.
I'm not going to.
not
That
do
that
that.
NFL championship hat is cherished.
It's like Connor likes the trucker hats.
yeah.
You appreciate a good trucker hat,
Wear
but
one
you'd
right
rather
now.
have a fitted cap.
No.
No,
I used to, not anymore.
I like
I'm
everything.
a dad now.
Connor likes it. All.
I'm a trucker hat guy now.
Trucker hat.
This is the Father's Day appreciation game last year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, come on, man.
Not as good as the shirt.
This year it's shorts. All right, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. I know Ray Dunn's favorite opening day memory or home opener memory. I forget it was opening day or home opener was the John Mayberry Jr. game-winning single.
That's a big
Was
moment.
that over the center fielder's head one?
Yes.
Okay,
And
I
I
remember
was grounded and unable to watch the game.
Was that when your pops made you paint the shutters?
Yes.
I know. See, I know the tuna story.
Yeah, he
But-
caught him watching Marlins Pirates instead
Stop.
of Phillies opening day.
But he let me listen to the game on the radio.
That's very kind of
Yeah, yeah, thanks. Thanks,
What
Pop.
did you done?
I don't know, dude. I did a lot of bad stuff. I'm telling you, I am a changed man.
You were really bad like that?
Yes. Connor, what
Why
do we
didn't
got?
you just kick your ass? Like, that would have fixed it.
Happened too.
Good.
What do we got on the text line, Connor?
Real
Did it-
quick.
Did it work right away?
While we bring up the opening day and what you're watching, we have a text in here. I find it weird that y'all are acting like Connor's the weird one because he's not watching Pirates games because of Skeens. Most people just want to watch their team's games. Baseball isn't football.
No.
That's ridiculous.
Connor said he can't handle it.
You said you can't handle it. That's what we ripped you for.
Well, I said
you
I'm not
said
doing
you
it.
couldn't handle it. We didn't say if someone just wants to watch the Phillies, that's fine. You said you couldn't handle
If the Phillies go to commercial and I peer down and it's either Alcantara or Skeens on the mound, I'm watching with my jaw open.
That's a mistake because you're going to miss whoever the Cure Auto Insurance commercial is about this year. We're going to need to know who.
You know what?
Totally okay
with
with missing
be great?
it.
There's going to be 12 commercials, maybe, that are rotated during Phillies games. We're going to see them for the first time today, and we're going to see them all through September.
I want to see them. I like.
If I see it, there was one a few years ago that with the people with the it had like that. It had that where the people were using their credit card to like tap, and it had this really annoying. And people were tapping the credit card.
Let's put that sound in the Bagster right there.
It is in the Bagster. It was terrible. I'm telling you, I'll be tired of the ads by next week.
I need you to put out a few text messages here, John.
Okay.
There might be some torts news.
No, I've already gotten it. I don't necessarily believe it.
Okay.
Let's put it this way. I don't necessarily
That's why I turned to you first.
I don't necessarily believe it.
What's the rumor?
The rumor was he was out. But I would not consider anything credible.
Yeah, credible yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Something to watch.
Just something to keep an eye on. I think Ant does a good job, but something to keep an eye on.
He absolutely he is a good source.
He does a good job.
But
I'd like to confirm.
No. DeMarco.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But
the Daily Face-Off.
Yeah, I do not believe that to be true by the first person I checked with, but I'm checking with someone that I think could be more.
And I know because of the comments the other day.
Sure.
People are wondering if this could be the case. All right, give us some text message.
All right, we'll go to other stuff outside of whether or not it's weird to watch the Pirates. Now, the patience list that we're talking about, Colby from Central PA has a thought on that. And he says, I'm giving the whole team patience. 162 games. All I want is an NL East title and a shot in October. They can do it. That's my bottom line, so I won't be impatient with any part of the team.
All right, well, hold on a second. The Braves are going to be really good. So to just say, I'll be patient. I just want a division title. Well, it's not a lock that they're going to win the division this year. The Braves are going to get healthier. I am picking the Phillies to win the division, as are John and Connor. We're all picking the Phillies, but if they get off to a slow start, as John has now pointed out eloquently multiple times, all of a sudden it's like, well, the Braves now got healthier with Strider. The Braves got healthier with Ronald Acuna Jr. And if the Phillies only have like a game lead, and they're more difficult schedule start. It's not.
You got to take advantage. You must take advantage of the opportunity that you've got early on. Get after it.
Yeah. So I'm all about patience. I understand. Like that's why I don't go through the season like an Eagles season. I don't. But to just be like, hey, I'm going to be patient. Just win me the division. Well, that's not a lock.
Elliot Friedman, who is a good source.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hit it.
Yep, hit it.
Now, breaking sports news from 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
What we got?
John Tortorella has stepped down. And Friedman's a good source. Real good source. So that is as good as can be confirmed.
Those comments the other day where he basically said, I didn't sign up for this.
Well, along the lines of, I'm not going to, and look, he took the blame too of himself.
Yeah. He says, this falls on me. I'm not really interested in learning how to coach in this type of season where we're at right now, but I have to do a better job. And you knew, like, if you're John Tortorella, you knew what you signed up for. Right?
Okay, he did. He did.
Was the plan? Like,
okay,
wait. I know. Was he here with Fletcher?
Again.
Still?
As it came in. And look, here's what I'm just going to say to you. He, last year, kept the team alive till 3 games to go in the season.
Yeah.
They played 2 meaningless games, but they also had Sam Emerson playing over his head.
Yeah, well over his head.
This year, he was asked to play without NHL caliber goaltender on the roster. That was a starting goaltender caliber on the roster. And when I stepped on a plane to go to Jamaica, this team was 500.
Yeah,
and then they gutted the roster, which is what they should do.
Yes, it's
what Danny Briere should do. To me, I'm shocked that John Tortorella showed so much frustration with that because that was the plan all along.
Yeah.
But I think that you're having once again, they were having an over their head season. Being 500 going into March was ridiculous. And I think he let his frustrations boil over a bit, but if he doesn't want to do that, then that's good. And,
so is he going to still be?
I think he's going to stay with the organization.
You think he'll be in the front office? Because that was the plan.
Yes.
He straight up said it last year.
I would say special advisor, something like that. I can tell you this, is that there was a good person that told me within the Flyers organization that he was never going to be fired. The only thing he could do was sort of fire himself. That either he would step away or his actions would cause them. I think look, good for him. Good for him if he decides to step away. And look to the University of Denver.
Just saying.
Look to the University of Denver for a chance.
Just saying, the official statement from the Flyers is that the Philadelphia Flyers announced today the team has relieved John Tortorella of his duties as head coach. The quote from Danny Briere, today I made the very difficult decision to move on from John as our head coach. John played a vital role in our rebuild. He set a standard of play and reestablished what it means to be a Philadelphia Flyer. John's passion on the bench was only equaled by his charitable work in our community. As we move into the next chapter of this rebuild, I felt this was the best for our team to move forward. I'd like to thank John for his tireless work and commitment to the Flyers. So that doesn't sound like step down.
No, that doesn't at all.
That sounds like fired.
They heard the comments the other day and just said, you know what? It's time.
Yeah, I think he got fired.
No, that sounds no. That's
if that's what Danny Briere. Those are his words. Yeah,
that's what says fired. So all right. I'm going to give you right now before it gets out there. Keep your eye on David Carle. You don't know who he is? Carle with an E, Carle. David Carle, I would say, could potentially be a target.
All right, something to keep an eye on. No more John Tortorella as the head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers. Coming up next, we'll react to it some more. Also, our man Michael Westwood, Jeff Francoeur at 9:25 to preview the 2025 MLB season. So much more in store. Busy 9 o'clock hour ahead. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson.
They're in the Sixers.
Home and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
It is Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic, opening day. And if you're just tuning in and missed it, the Flyers have relieved head coach John Tortorella of his duties. The statement makes it seem like they fired him.
No, he absolutely was relieved of his duties.
It was those comments that he made.
The other night was those comments weren't correct. I just put a tweet out. I'm like, if he had a problem with cashing out on the 2025 season, with tanking and everything, because look, again, it was amazing again that he had a team in March that was still legitimately playing out there and doing a good job.
Yeah.
But if he had a problem with the trades and gutting that lineup and everything, Danny Briere did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Oh, no,
and I consider it dumb that he would all of a sudden have a problem.
I know when you're trying to be competitive and stuff, but it's not like they were doing anything with the roster if they didn't make the trades.
They weren't going to be. I don't think they would have been a playoff team otherwise.
Yeah, they might not even the playoffs.
But they could have been a 500 team for the year, which would have been absolutely amazing. His work here has been certainly overachieving the past 2 seasons.
He got the most out of the players.
But the team has to do what's right for the long term. And if that was his attitude, the way he displayed it the other night, if that's the attitude, then you got to step away and you got to let someone else. I put another tweet too. I've already picked my candidate. I want David Carl to be the guy. If you want to go research him, University of Denver head coach, young coach. I would love to see him be the hire.
Okay.
We'll see.
Johnny Hockey.
There you go.
So if you want to react to the firing of John Tortorella, feel free at 610-632-0975. But, of course, we've been talking about the Philadelphia Phillies and Major League Baseball opening day today. It's been a lot of fun talking about the Phillies, and I'm glad that the majority of our texters have been more confident or more happy or more joyous that today is a holiday. So give us another text that the people are sending in so far this morning, Connor, before we get to our man Michael Westwood.
All right, we have a check-in here from Alfie in Abington who says, after the end of my NFL season, I counted down to pitchers and catchers with hope in my heart. If the offense does everything anticipated, it's a fun 98-win team.
In case people are wondering, Alfie is a Lions fan, so his season ended a little bit earlier than he expected, to the hands of the Commanders, who then had their season ended to the hands of the Eagles.
Yep.
Who then handed the end of the season to the Kansas City Chiefs because the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Still feels good to say. 98 wins, it's a lot. That's a lot. I'm not going to go 98, but 90 plus, absolutely. My official's 92, yours is 94, Connor's is 93. So we're all
there in the same neighborhood.
In that range. But in 90 plus, if you don't win 90 games, to your point, John, then
there's something wrong.
Injury is a big part of it, or they just fell apart.
If they fall apart, that's terrible. But as I said, I believe that if one of the three teams in the division is not winning 90 of the Mets, Braves, Phillies, it's the Mets. They'll be the team that falls apart.
Yeah, got to be, right?
Yeah, that rotation doesn't look like a 90-win team rotation.
No, it doesn't. And that's why I said it a couple times yesterday, unless they're like the 2008 Phillies, where the 2008 Phillies won with their bats. I know the bullpen was tremendous, but other than Cole Hamels, you were just relying on quality starts. Now, you can do that. You can get by if you have a very, very good bullpen, which the Mets do have a good bullpen. That is true.
I don't think their batting order is that great, though.
I think their batting order is
very
top.
good.
See, I like the top. I don't like the bottom.
I think they're a deep line.
They're damn good.
I think they're guys.
Wow,
they don't have a Marsh Rojas like the Phillies did last year.
No, that's absolutely correct. But I don't think that it's
almost 2 guaranteed outs.
I don't think it's Murderer's Row by any stretch.
I got you.
I really don't.
I think they're going to be.
Who will score more runs this year? Phillies or the Mets?
It should be the Phillies.
It should be.
Yeah.
Who should score more runs this year? The Braves or the Mets?
The Braves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're the third best team in their own division. And
that's why I have them. That's why I have them finishing.
And I'm
third,
saying, but scoring runs, then that means that they would have the third best lineup.
I got you. All right, let's head to the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business, big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. Just a beautiful time in sports in general. Today is my favorite day of the year.
Oh.
It's opening day in Major League Baseball, but tournament play continues, which is also a lot of fun. We just got the news that John Tortorella has been relieved of his duties, so we got the late season firings happening with teams that won't make the playoffs. The Sixers are still finding ways to lose, which is a good thing, but finding ways to win is turning to our man Michael Westwood. And by win, I mean winning money. From GBIwins.com, make sure you give the free recorded line a call. 1-800-885-2525. Again, 1-800-885-2525. I missed him last week, but I was given nothing but great reports that he had another winning week. Is that correct, Michael?
What's happening, guys? That is 100% correct. I mean, Thursdays have been the day for us. Last week we had Creighton, absolute winner. But I want to establish something, okay? John attacked me last week, Andrew. You weren't here to protect me. He attacked me last week. He wanted to make a bet with me. John, am I correct?
On the Mets. Yep.
On Mets and Phillies.
Phillies ahead of the Mets, yes.
Yeah, well, here's the story. I'm going to accept that challenge because the Mets are definitely going to win over 90 games this year. You think the Phillies are going to win over 90, so I'm going to make a little bet with you guys. Drew, I don't know if you listened last week, but John made a bet with me. He wanted to do a steak dinner. I want to add a little lobster dinner onto that.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got a little surf and turf.
That's good.
Turf. So if you guys accept that, you have to win 90 games to qualify. If you guys accept that, let's do it.
So wait, what's the overall winner? 90 wins and then whoever's on top?
The Phillies must win 90.
Yeah.
And the Phillies must be ahead of the Mets.
And that's going to happen.
And the Phillies must be ahead of the Mets.
That's going to happen.
That's the deal.
Okay, that's fine, yes. Whoever wins, you have to win 90 games to qualify.
But the Phillies must be ahead of the Mets, or in your case, the Mets must be ahead of the Phillies.
Yeah, and the Phillies will be ahead of the Mets.
If either team doesn't win 90, that is a loser.
Look, you're an honorary Philadelphia fan at this point because you rocked with the Birds during the Super Bowl.
No doubt about it.
Well, you're going to make people money today, though.
Yeah, so what do we got today, man? Tournament continues.
Well, listen, it's Sweet 16 time, guys, and today I'm advertising something. I never, ever do this. I'm not really a parlay guy, but my sources came to me and said, listen, I've got two games, Maryland playing Florida and also Arkansas playing Texas Tech. And I'm giving it out for free, guys. It's on my 800 number, 1-800-885-2525. Again, 1-800-885-2525. It's on my free recorded message line. You're going to get my winner of Maryland playing Florida and also Arkansas playing Texas Tech. It's free. I want you guys to try it out, all right? Every week I say the same thing. You guys call up. You get the free winners, then you sign up with us, which is phenomenal. People who have not signed up yet, you got to be out of your mind. I am absolutely on fire. The weekend is huge. Get involved with me. 1-800-885-2525. 2-0 today, absolutely free. You can call that number right now. It's a free recorded message.
And to your point, you don't normally do parlays. I mean, we've been talking to Michael throughout the entire football season, both NFL, college. We've been doing the tournament talk, so you really haven't done parlays. So you must be feeling pretty good about the Maryland-Florida matchup and the Arkansas-Texas Tech matchup. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. You keep on killing it, Michael, all right?
Guys, you know what? I have a source that only handles parlays. They eat, sleep, and drink this. So today's the day. I'm giving it out to everybody for free. Maryland playing Florida. Also Arkansas playing Texas Tech. Start your Sweet 16 off absolutely free. All you have to do right now is dial 1-800-885-2525. Again, 1-800-885-2525. Again, it's a free recorded hotline. After you go 2-0, give us a call tomorrow, and maybe we'll do some business.
You're the
Let's
man,
get
Michael.
after it today,
Yeah,
Michael.
we
Good
appreciate
job,
it. Let's keep on winning money. I need this bankroll for baseball season. We appreciate it, brother. The number 1-800-885-2525. That's our man, Michael Westwood from GBIwins.com. Mike, we'll talk to you again later. There he is.
There he is.
Michael Westwood. All right, give that number a call. All right, coming up next, Jeff Francoeur, man.
Yeah, he has a kid's performance this morning, so he's going to be joining us right after this.
It might be the best part of his day.
Oh, yeah, he loves going to the kids' performances. They're great.
So we get to preview the 2025 MLB season, the Phillies season. Obviously, Phillies Braves. It's going to be a fight throughout the course of the season. We talk about with Jeff Francoeur next here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Tortorella and the Flyers part ways. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers have made a major move. Moving on from head coach John Tortorella. Per a statement by Danny Briere, he had to make the tough decision to part ways with John Tortorella. Now, the initial thought from the organization was that they would keep him in some type of advisor role. This statement makes it sound more like a full cutting of ties. We'll keep you updated as more information comes out. But what we do know is Tortorella no longer the head coach of your Philadelphia Flyers. So the coaching search begins in a rebuild filled offseason for the Flyers once we get through the NHL regular season. Of course, it's still opening day for the 2025 MLB season. The Phillies open up the season in Washington today at 4:05 p.m. Zach Wheeler faces Mackenzie Gore, and Jason Stark, well, he faced off against the criticism of the Philadelphia Phillies from some. Talked to the best show ever yesterday about his bullish thoughts on the Phillies even after spring training.
I think the outlook is right. I'm actually more bullish on the Phillies' chances after spring training than I was going into spring training.
So a lot of opportunity for the Phils. The Sixers fell to the Wizards last night. They're off tonight. Flyers take on the Canadiens tonight at 7 p.m. It'll be interesting without John Tortorella. Jeff Francoeur joins us next. This update's brought to you by Hand and Stone. Pricing starting at just $79.95. There's no better time to unwind and relieve stress. Find the spot nearest you at handandstone.com and experience the ultimate in relaxation. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ricky Vitalico.
Everybody thought that when Bryce Harper stepped over here.
Philadelphia. It is 9:27 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. And now we head to the Comcast Business Hotline, where every day of business is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. If I hear you say one more time that this guy owes you his entire career, including his baseball career.
No, his baseball career, he doesn't. He graduated high school, though, in the second year of my radio show in Atlanta.
Oh, so it was all because of you.
So I'm sure, and he was talked about. Jeff Francoeur, you know him, MLB on TBS, Braves broadcaster, and the Pure Athlete podcast that I told you later today.
Yeah.
That when you see Cooper growing up, you need to listen to this podcast. Gives a lot of lessons to the parents out there. Jeffrey, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are we in Philly on opening day?
Well, we're going to hang a banner next Monday, but we're more interested in how we can start winning in the playoffs again. But everybody's excited for the start of the year.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, it should be a great year. And, I was doing some prep last week looking, and, I mean, you look at this Phillies team, you look at this Braves team, it literally might be as even as you could possibly be. I think so, digging into it. It's unreal.
When you make, what do you make of the Phillies? Because the biggest complaint from a lot of people here in Philadelphia is that they ran it back. Even though they won 95 games last year, the bad taste in the mouth of the playoff series loss to the Mets is still there for a lot of people. The roster is very similar. What did you make of the offseason lack of additions for the Phillies going into another year?
You know what? I don't think it's a horrible thing. I honestly don't. I think this team's very good, and I think just because it doesn't work out one year, you don't blow it up. You don't go add all this stuff. I will tell you this. A good wild card for y'all, man, Jesus Luzardo in that back end of the rotation. He is you talk to a lot of guys, he's an uncomfortable at bat. And if he can stay healthy and figure it out, I got a chance to be very good. And I think that's why, there's a lot of talk, obviously, with Soto, right, and the Mets. But when I look at it on paper, to me, still the Braves and Phillies are the top of the class in the NL East. I truly believe that. And just look at today, and no disrespect, I think Clay Holmes is a great pitcher. The Phillies have Zach Wheeler, the Braves have Chris Sale, and they have Clay Holmes. That should tell you a lot, kind of where you're at opening day.
When you look at that, and I saw that, and I know you lived through it, everything in Braves country used to be that starting rotation just giving you so much grace because it puts you in a position to win consistently over a 6-month period. But the lineup, though, of the Phillies, does the lineup give them that same grace? Because we see it. We see great runs, and then we see just extended periods where they're not able to produce.
Yeah, and that's where, maybe and that's, I think, the thing is, Dave Dombrowski and that crew showed you if they need something at the deadline, they will address that. I think when you're looking at it, could you use a guy or two here or there? A lot of people down in Atlanta, guys, banged all off season about doing nothing. But I actually personally really like the Profar signing down there. If he's anything kind of like he was in San Diego last year, because he brings another element of speed, of power, of excitement. So that would be the one thing I think when you look at Philly, because everybody's another year older doing that. Are they going to be able to have some of that in their lineup? We obviously know with Turner and you get that, but Bryce being able to keep him on the field, not run him into the ground. So I think those are questions. I think Philly's got the best rotation in baseball personally. I know everybody loves the Dodgers. Those guys got to stay healthy. They got to throw, and if they do, yes, they're going to be very good. But 1 through 5, the Phillies, they have a chance every single night to go out there. And then I would put the Braves lineup a little bit ahead of the Phillies as of now. But, again, it's so close. It's neck and neck. So, I don't know. It's gonna be a fun year to see. But I will tell you, all those teams, the Phillies, the Braves, the Dodgers, they're going to add at the deadline if they need to. So what you have now is not always a finished product.
Being the former everyday baseball player that you were, what do you make of this potential platooning lineup for the Phillies? And I'm not saying platooning center fielders, We're talking about platooning leadoff hitters. Trey Turner could lead off one game. Kyle Schwarber could lead off the next game. Does that impact any sort of a rhythm or an approach for a hitter? What do you make of what the Phillies could be doing this year?
I don't love that idea. I'm old school in the fact that, I came from, especially not there in the lineup. You hear of platoons 7 and 8 holes a lot of the time, but you ever see those teams in the big leagues that, a guy's hitting third one day and then he's hitting 8th the next because there's a lefty, and I'm like, do you trust him that much to hit third one day and then you move him to 8th? I don't love that idea. But I will tell you that, it's such a veteran team in Philly that I don't know that those guys will care that much. And it's two guys that are close friends. That whole lineup, like I said, pretty much, they're pretty cohesive units. So, they might be able to get away with it there. But, I do think Rob Thompson can be somewhat old school too. And I don't know how much of this is his idea, how much is coming from up top, or the pencil heads, as we call them in the game. But I look, that stuff straightens itself out. Rob might do it for a little bit. If you don't like it, he'll nip it in the butt.
I've said before, Jeff, that I know of situations where managers have had their lineup cards made out for them by the front office, or at least a very, very heavy hand coming from upstairs. It's a different day than when you played in Major League Baseball, is it not, with that kind of decision-making?
100%. I've talked to Braves manager Brian Snitker about it 100 times, and he's like, and not in a bad way, but he's like, there's times that they'll call someone up and they don't even ask me about it. You know what I'm saying? They're calling somebody out. But I think where it's good and where Snit, Rob Thompson, those guys, is I think they're comfortable in their own skin and know who they are. So if there's something, and Snit's admitted this to me before in Atlanta, like, if there's something I really want, I will make my voice known, and he always kind of, Alex or Dombrowski, kind of get out of the way. So I think that's the thing for them. Now, the tough thing, John, is you talk about if you're a young manager in this game, man, you don't really have that kind of pull that probably Snit and Rob Thompson do, and that's where the game's changed.
You going to be coming to Philly sometime soon, I hope?
I am. I got 2-3 TBS games. I got Marion lined up. I got Pine Valley lined up. It's all coming together.
Yeah, it's good. Tell my partner, who has a 3-year-old son, and Andrew considers himself quite the sportsman.
Two-a-day started yesterday.
About coaching his son, Jeff, the dangers of coaching his son, and what does he need to know most. The Pure Athlete podcast has great conversations like this, by the way. So, what does he need to know?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm really excited, John. You know my dad. You've seen my dad around, and we're actually having my dad on the podcast next week.
Oh, that's awesome.
These guys have asked me to
tell
have
him I said hello.
I will. And, it's more of just having experience with your kids, when to push them, when to show grace, when's too early, when's too late. What about sports specialization? We had Kirk Herbstreit on a couple weeks ago, and that was his big thing talking. And it's a real problem because I agree with what he said. He's like, I'm all for sports specialization or for multiple sports, but for a lot of these kids, if they're not the alpha athlete, right, if they're not practicing volleyball year-round, when it comes to high school volleyball, they're not going to make the team. And so I think that's the toughest thing, is that we've just pigeonholed ourselves. So it's trying to work through that, right? There's no right or wrong answer to it. But, it's tough. I sit here and talk all this stuff, right? We had 13 games this past weekend between my 4 kids.
Oh, my gosh.
And Sunday night,
you go one way, Katie goes the other?
10 o'clock, 100%, Grandma. But we sat down Sunday night, and Katie looked at me, and she's like, enough, Uncle.
That's too much.
And me, the human side's like, you're right. But then I'm like, what do I tell the kids? You can't go to the, it's tough as parents. These are decisions we have to make for our kids and what's best. Because you know as well as I do. That's why I tell parents when parents tell me, my kid loves it. Most kids will always say, I want to play. If I told Braden, we're going to do one more game, absolutely. Sure. But what's best for them? And I think that's where parents, we have to make better decisions for the kids.
He is a star in the broadcasting business. I'm glad that I launched it. Jeff, I'll look forward.
There's another mention, Jeff.
I'll look forward to seeing you soon.
I will give John this. I'll give him this. He definitely urged me to go into this side of the
Yes.
There's no doubt about that. We've had numerous talks about it.
I saw your talent.
And hey, it's why he texted me last night and why I came on this morning. I do owe him a lot, and I love him. I always love coming to Philly. And
By the way,
I think this is going to be
I can't wait to talk about the world champion Eagles with you. So it'll be great.
Hey, dude, let me tell you. Hey, I was happy about that because I rode them all the way through the playoffs.
You did?
You know what I mean?
See, there you go.
That's good. That's good work. That's good work.
All right, we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Jeff.
I say, Jeff.
There he is, Jeff Francoeur on the Comcast Business Hotline. Good work, Johnny. I love him.
Good man.
He's great. I love him.
Great dude to talk baseball with. And football. Loves football. Would have gone to Clemson on a full scholarship as a safety out of high school.
Must be nice.
Yep.
You know who's a good guy?
Who's that?
Johnny Brazier.
John Brazier's a real good guy.
Director of Fun and Games for the Philadelphia Phillies. A man that I ate dinner with just last Wednesday when my son was a freaking menace.
Oh, boy. Well, John can be a menace some dinners, too.
Johnny Brazier joins us next, and he has a pair of tickets to give away to you. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli, Bill Colarulo, and Ray Dunn. They have a lot.
to Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We got our key three coming up in a few minutes, but it is opening day. And when I think of Phillies baseball, I think of fun, and I think of the director of fun and games of the Philadelphia Phillies. Our man, Johnny Brazier, in studio. Johnny, good morning.
What's up, fellas? Andrew, I just saw you not too long ago.
Yes.
Right? John, haven't seen you in a while, so good to be seen. I got my Ernest Hemingway look right here with the Clearwater tan and the gray beard.
The tan helps. It really does. It gives you a good look.
Johnny and I went to Columbia, his favorite restaurant.
I love Columbia.
That he is
it's absolutely my favorite.
We did the math. At least 300 to 400 times you've eaten there.
Is that what I came up with?
That's what we came up with.
That's a scary number right there.
I like the Columbia in downtown, the
Ybor
Disney,
City.
No, in Disney one. They have one in the fake little Disney town.
Okay,
That's
well,
really
Ybor
good.
City is the original.
Celebration.
Ybor City is the original. It takes up a whole city block.
It's unbelievable.
Flamenco dancers, the best salad, and it's weird to rave about a salad, but
we recreated it at the house 2 days ago.
Did you put Worcestershire sauce in there?
Delightful.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So we've now found the way to make it.
Good.
Huge. Huge.
How do you ramp up the excitement and put away? How do you put each season on the shelf?
Well,
like for what happened and how things go.
I think the beauty of obviously opening day is you have a new slate. And it's funny you say that coming off 95 wins, right? But it was such a bad ending, especially against the rival Mets. That you get the taste out of the mouth. The players have moved on. And it's great in spring training that, when the new players, I know we didn't make the huge splashy moves, right? That everyone, Soto or someone big like that. But I tell you what, I think Dombrowski did a good job filling needs without giving up. I was just telling Connor that, we traded Starlin Cabo, who's a very good prospect. Really good prospect. If we had gotten Crochet, we're giving up probably Justin Crawford and maybe even Aiden Miller. I mean, you're giving up. And they have the same amount of years left. And Crochet is obviously more of he's a stud. A stud. But Luzardo, if he stays healthy, I mean, he pitched game one against us, and we played the Marlins a couple years ago. So Max Kepler looks like a beast, but the same thing. The best ability is availability, and if he's healthy, he could be a huge upgrade, which we need in the outfield. And then, Jordan Romano, same thing. Romano, he said in spring training that you can say Romano or Romano. So
whatever you want to say.
I'm gonna. Yeah, so I can't go wrong either way.
Will add an S at the end of it before we know
he'll
it.
be Romanos.
Right. But the two guys that I am super excited about, that's getting a lot of buzz. If you talk to a lot of the national writers, you talk to some of the people that cover the team. Two guys, and it's not I'm not telling you anything that's not obvious. But the guy who's pitching on Monday is Christopher Sanchez. Christopher Sanchez, they say he is a dark horse for the Cy Young.
He was so great at home last year. He took such a step forward.
Yep, and he's even taken more of a step forward, added a new pitch. He's gotten he's going to be, obviously more experienced. The other guy that looks absolutely lights out, and when this guy looks like lights out, is Alvarado.
Oh,
I mean, he had a dominant spring.
He looks great, too.
Really good. He slimmed down a little bit. So, who knows? Hopefully we can get some of the guys that, that we found out at the end of last year that there were some injuries. So hopefully we can get a full season of health from Bohm, full season of health from Stott, right? And then and get Turner going that's for the whole season. Look, the power rankings are having us in the top 3, top 4, top 5.
Well, and that's the thing. We've been talking to a lot of fans, and a lot of fans are still down from last year.
It's a Mets loss. I'm convinced the Mets
killing people.
The fact that it was the Mets,
right,
is a lot
But they're
worse.
top 3 in every power ranking. So I try to remind the people, it's not just John and I wearing our Phillies gear saying, "Hey, go Phillies! They're gonna have a good season." It's the people that cover the league nationally that are saying, Whoa, what's this doom and gloom? You guys got one of the best teams in baseball.
Well, and I think it starts with the rotation. When you look at the rotation, again, these power rankings, national writers, the Dodgers, on paper, have probably the best rotation. They also have depth. But the Phillies are usually number 2, Seattle's number 3. And this is the best rotation I've seen. I think it rivals the Halladay Lee,
I
rotation.
think it does.
I mean, from top to bottom. Then, when you have the so-called secret weapon coming in, potentially in June, July, of Andrew Painter, which, could be there for depth purposes or comes in. If it all goes well, maybe you have an unbelievable 6-man rotation right there. And you have that, if they all stay healthy, knock on wood, then, your offense doesn't have to be as great. And our offense was really good last year. And with the upside, again, some of these guys stay healthy, that combined, and then the bullpen can be like any year, like any team. the bullpen goes up and down, but hopefully we got some risers in Kirkring. Takes a step up, and some of the other guys, and again Alvarado, and so I'm feeling very optimistic.
Feeling good. So Johnny, being the director of fun and games that you are for the Philadelphia Phillies, first off, I don't want to we got our key 3 coming up in 2 minutes, so I don't want to just shove this to the end. Caller number 1 of the regular line. Sorry, because the phone stuff. 610-632-0975. Caller number 1 will get the gift that John Brazier brought in studio today. We have a pair of tickets for the Phillies-Rockies game Thursday, April 3rd, 1:05 first pitch. Tickets are still available. For info, go to Phillies.com.
We're going
and
there,
I know
right?
they're beautiful seats.
We're going down to that.
I got an event. Courtesy of my friends at Corona.
Oh, so you got an event.
And Monet Davis is throwing out the first pitch.
Oh, that's really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, for somebody that's going, what's new at Citizens Bank Park? We got about 90 seconds. I know, Director of Fun and Games,
Well,
you know all these
We're
things.
having a big press conference tomorrow night, so I can't give away too much, but I can say that when you walk into the ballpark this year, the sounds and the visuals are going to be like you've never seen before.
Okay.
So it's going to be a wow factor, just to let you know.
They were great already.
Yeah, some of the food items, again, we're kind of announcing all this, but I'll give you one that was already written up in
Saw some on Twitter,
national publications, but you probably heard about the s'mores quesadilla.
Might have to try that.
Which is unbelievable. It looks like some Nutella and some marshmallows, graham crackers, chocolate sauce, all that. I was down in the team store the other day, and the store has opening day merch. It's got a lot of Fanatic. The Fanatic, I don't know if it's Bryce Harper's tattoo, but there's a lot of fun Fanatic stuff in there. And
New Fanatic hats we saw last Sunday. We were down there and saw some new Fanatic hats.
Helps
too.
that the OG Fanatic's been back for a couple of years now, too.
Right, so
that helps a little bit, too.
And then just some of the great promotions, and we've got bobblehead dolls throughout the year with Zach Wheeler, JT
Schwarber one
Realmuto.
looks wild.
Yes, it's like a baseball card type thing. It's a new one, and also the Bryce Harper's got a cool. It's called a Funko. But also you're going to have Brandon Marsh has a basketball jersey. Nick Castellanos has wristbands.
That's cool.
There's some really fun giveaways. Actually, one of the nicest giveaways is our Mother's Day gift. It's for women 15 and over, and it's a Phillies puffer jacket.
Kristen wants to go to the game for it.
If I showed you this jacket, you would never believe it was a giveaway.
Yeah.
Back when I first started many years ago, these things are made of paper, right?
I remember-
This is a nice puffer jacket you could wear. Right.
You and I are old enough to remember Painter Hat Night.
Painter hats, yeah. That was a big one.
Is it MAB?
Yeah, and we used to have
Painter's hat.
and we used to have growth charts.
Yes,
right?
the growth chart.
We had
That was always a big one.
Ricky Otero on the growth chart.
awesome.
right?
It was.
Ben Revere.
Awesome.
There we go.
Johnny, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for giving the pair of tickets to one of our great listeners. We appreciate it. Have fun this season.
All right,
It's gonna
guys.
be a blast.
Go Phils.
Go Phils. All right, it's time now for the key 3 best minutes from today's show.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. Today's best.
Johnny, today's a day where I want this show to be as positive as possible. And I'm not trying to blow, smoke up anybody's skirt. I'm not trying to let's be positive for the sake of being positive. This team, as you said, it's going to be a very fun season, is very, very, very good. And as frustrating as the last couple of years have been, as disappointing as the lack of change with the roster may be for a lot of you, including us. I didn't like the run it back approach. You're still running it back with a 95-win team. And so, yes, you want to talk about your concerns for the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. I understand it. I do. But for you to allow it to tamper with your opening day and the months of April, May, June, July, August, when it's just
You
going
studied
to
your
a
months
ballpark.
last night, I
Thank
see.
you.
Very good.
Just going to a ballpark and watching the game. Just watching it from home. We talked about it yesterday. Also, the best background noise. You don't have to be locked in every single pitch in a game in May and June, but you hear the crack of the bat, you look over and you see Harper around the bases and you're celebrating. That's the beauty of baseball. It's a long season, and when you have a good team, which the Phillies are, it makes it that much more enjoyable. And I'm hoping we can try to kind of calm down the woe is me crowd that we've been dealing with since we've been talking about this team the last couple of weeks. Can you, and I know you can, and Connor, I know you can, this is more so for the audience that's like going into this season with just a horrible attitude. Can you, beginning today, before first pitch, just be along for the ride and worry about the playoffs when the playoffs get here?
How about with a caveat? Okay. See if this is a fair caveat. Can you agree to be along for the ride till Memorial Day? Can you give them 50 games?
I think we need more than that.
No, to be along for the ride, because if you're negative on this team and where they're at, and you see the same old crap. And they haven't fixed any of these things that they swore to you they were going to fix. They swore to you. 17 quotes full, and I got them all. That they said they were going to change things up, do things differently. We got to do things differently. We got to be a different team. If I see the same team through 50 games, I'm going to tell you I know the ending. And I will say it just as defiantly as I said you guys were going to be working an Eagles pregame show the last Sunday in January. If I see Memorial Day come, and I don't see the changes that were promised, I absolutely will be in the camp of you're getting the same thing, and I already know the ending to this story. Don't know how the car crash is coming, but it's coming.
Now, what about July 31st? That's MLB trade deadline day. What if they acquire a center fielder that actually can do both hit and field?
I would open myself to...
That's well past Memorial Day.
How about this? I would open myself to evaluate. It would take a lot to move me off that position.
Okay, so
the positivity is going to come from us. I want the I do want the natural reaction from the audience, though, because I don't understand the psyche. I don't get it. I try to relate. I don't understand it. If I don't like something, I don't do something.
Right.
So if there's something I don't like, I don't make time for it. I don't do it. I don't believe any of the people going, Phillies aren't getting any of my money. Phillies aren't getting any of my time. By the way, if you're watching the Phillies on TV, they're getting your money.
Right.
They really are. You're helping them make money. If you're still watching and you're hate watching, I'm going to say get a hobby, get a rescue dog, get something, because if it makes you that miserable, I don't understand. I truly don't understand it. I don't grasp the concept. I do know this, though. If you think this Phillies team isn't a really, really good team with a chance to win it all, I'll say it flat out. You don't know baseball.
Right.
You don't know baseball. You're just talking. You're just typing. You're just texting and tweeting just to say something. Because if you don't believe this team is one of the top handful of contenders to have a parade this fall, I'm going to just tell you don't know baseball.
All right, that's the key three best minutes from today's show. Happy opening day, everybody. Mike Missanelli Show coming your way next, Johnny.
And you got to remember, support life-saving cancer research. Join FT Young Heating and Air Conditioning and do what they did. Make a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research. Do it at 975thefanatic.com/AACR because cancer research saves lives. Bet the under today.
Okay.
And bet a Phillies victory. So under,
I like the Phillies victory. Around 4:03 today, I will sit on my couch and you'll hear...
Perfect. Right after General
Beer
Hospital.
time, baby.
You can catch the end of General Hospital. It's been very good.
I got to take care of Coop. Everybody have a great rest